Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 65 of the Talk with the Dad podcast. This evening, I'm going to get a special episode, and this is going to be like a once-a-month thing that we're going to be doing now. Maybe not quite pick the right date. You know, we might move these around every once in a while, but this is going to be the UFC Mega Show. This is an entire podcast, either 45 minutes or 2 hours and 45 minutes of just UFC talk, and yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. I'm really excited. Actually, we might just break into fight talk. Because Tyson Fury announced that a few different things going on with his camp. So,
oh yeah, I'm actually coming in cold on that topic because I saw it come up in my feed a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have the time to check it because you know where I
work. I didn't read much into it either. But basically, they couldn't get the Deontay Wilder trilogy, so he's just going to fight in December.
Why couldn't they secure the trilogy?
It was either money or timing, or Wilder's not quite reachable at times, so
quite reachable.
I'd be afraid to fucking fight Tyson Fury again.
So what the near future? Since we're jumping right into it, near future looks like Anthony Joshua, huh?
I don't know who they said who his opponent was going to be. He has a belt now, right? So technically, he's going to have like a defense. So you know how like the commissions do, where they have a mandatory defense and they put someone up and he has to fight him. So I think they're going to do that before they pursue the Joshua fight, which is probably a smart idea.
You know what's crazy, man? So I was watching Chael the other day. Chael has said for many years that he feels like boxing is dead, and I disagreed with him.
Boxing is pretty big right now, I think.
It's hanging in there. It's got some big up and comers coming up. And to all my pugilists out there, I'm not saying that boxing is dead. I'm saying that right now a clear star is yet to be determined, and there are some stars about to break through. We got some great matches coming out.
There's a few.
We got some great matches breaking out, but it's in a weird place right now. It's COVID has really impacted the ability.
Been no fights, right? There's been maybe one or two.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the biggest prospect is obviously Danny Garcia, and then what's the other guy's name? Zach, don't make me do this.
Garcia.
Ryan Garcia. Yeah,
no, I think the biggest prospect right now is Vasily Lomachenko.
I can't say his name.
He hasn't gotten the respect that he deserves yet for the masterclass of footwork that he puts on every time he's out there.
He gets the respect from like real fans, like
right,
real people.
But the respect comes when the general public knows about you.
Well, you got to beat a big name, right? You got to beat someone. I think
there is no big names, unfortunately, from the fight.
And this is so all right. But I'm gonna take a deep breath. I'm not gonna go there tonight. I'm calm. But here's the thing, right? He has friggin' beat. What's the best way? He's beat guys. He's beat prize fighters. He's beat boxers, man. He's not fighting cans.
Oh,
and
no.
To say that it's suggested that he has. Not saying that you have, but I've seen other people in the Twitter sphere suggesting that. But the guy's legit, man. It's just, like you said, we're waiting for a big name. He's got a fight coming up here pretty soon. And
very soon.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a great fight, man. I think it's going to be great, but the problem is MMA is really popping off right now. And this is what happens when you're officially the first sport back, right? Why is the UFC's ratings doing better than the NBA? Because there's no political agenda associated with it. I'm not saying that there is a political agenda associated with the NBA, but there's a lot of social stuff going on. Some people think that's impacted the ratings of the NBA and the NFL and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Maybe it hasn't. All I know is that right now we've had fights every Saturday, pretty consistent, and it has never been a better time in my mind to be an MMA fan.
I agree.
Now, you can make a good argument, Steve. What about the other organizations? And to you, my response would be, what about them?
Well, Bellator's put on some fights, right?
Yeah.
One hasn't, as far as I know.
No.
And essentially that's it, right? There's the PFL, but PFL is really like fucking C League, right? I feel like the two top right now definitely are UFC Bellator. Right. One championship is in tail right behind Bellator, in my opinion. And then it drops off significantly to PFL. So
I would actually put Bellator I would put one maybe slightly above Bellator just for production value.
Sure, I give you that, but one hasn't done any fights.
No, they haven't. But man,
right
they're
now, right as we stand today, UFC, Bellator, one PFL.
Oh, activity, no doubt about it. The problem is the merchandise of Bellator, right? And it's in a weird spot where it's not a feeder for the UFC, so a lot of people don't give it the respect that it deserves. But you got a lot of accomplished fighters over there. Have you looked at ONE's championship roster recently?
No. There's some
Oh,
killers.
man.
There's some killers in one. I know
There's
that
some,
for sure.
there's some absolute murderers over there, man. The only thing that sucks about it though is they're never going to be the Pride. You know, everyone thought this was going to be Pride 2.0, and I'm like, nah,
right.
you're
Ryzen
not-
was that. Ryzen was that.
Like, you're not going to be able to remake the Pride Day. You got to mix in some good sake, cocaine, and yakuza.
Yeah, some a little bit of mob. Actually, Bellator on the 29th of this month has an incredible main event in Gegard Mousasi versus Lima. That's an incredible fight.
Man, Gegard Mousasi never got the respect I feel he deserved. Man, his contract reflected that too.
Yeah. Nick Newell is fighting on that card too.
Who else is fighting on it?
Nick Newell. Do you know who Nick Newell is? The kid with one arm or one hand.
Yes. Yeah,
he was fighting on that card too.
Man, he had a great run on World Series. Where's the World Series of Fighting? What was it called before it became the new thing? World Series of Fighting. Yeah, World Series of Fighting.
Right. Before we came to PFL.
Yeah, and then he he was on Dana White's Contender Series too.
And won, if I remember correctly.
No, I think he lost.
Did he?
Yeah, I think he lost handedly. Wait. Yeah, he did.
I was gonna make a joke to follow that up.
I was hoping you wouldn't go there.
Oh, but I didn't.
Oh, Cyborg's got the title defense. Who's
I don't care about Cyborg though.
Who is she fighting though? What?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. She's dead to me. Fighting a woman who looks like she's 55 years old. Wow. That's just disrespectful to do.
Oh man. So what do you think, Zach? We got some stuff? We got some stuff popping off here, man. And I'm really interested to get your take on a lot of these, man, because it was a great weekend of fights, man.
Very good. Very good weekend of fights.
Here's the crazy thing, right? It was like a finishing bonanza at one point. You know, Dana was sitting on the side there, just losing his mind. At one point, losing his mind at one point. So your boy Joaquin Buckley, pronounced that one right? Did the Google voice just to make sure I had it correct.
There were 6 finishes.
There were 6 finishes on the card.
Yeah.
Joaquin Buckley, his head kick, that turning around, spinning back kick to the soul and face of that poor guy. Knockout of the year?
Oh, for sure.
Greatest knockout in UFC history?
Man, is it Matt Brown who hit that dude with the elbow and almost killed him?
Remember that was Diego Sanchez.
Yeah. That's up there for me too. That's up there.
Which one?
That's just how violent it is. The Francis Alistair Overeem is up there.
That was like a Street Fighter uppercut.
Right. Yeah, there's a few. This one's very, very good because it's so technical, right? Yeah. You can't do this without having done that probably a few hundred times. I think it's a Taekwondo kick, right? Where you put your foot up on the bag and do a spin kick. I had initially saw it and I'm like, oh, wow, that was crazy Muay Thai. And I'm like, no, wait a second. Muay Thai, when you catch a leg, you sweep. You don't catch and hold and get kicked, right? So...
And that was perfectly aimed too. That wasn't like an accident. That wasn't a Hail Mary. Like he put that in the barrel and pulled the trigger.
Perfect.
It was
perfect.
It was amazing.
He got 200,000 for that kick, I think.
Did he really?
I think Dana White gave him fight of the night, performance of the night, knockout of the night, something like that. And he got a shitload of money for that.
Dude, change your life instantly with a kick. Just absolutely changed. Like, I don't know what his training regimen was before, but if you go into the hypotheticals of these young fighters coming up, there are guys that are still baristas at Starbucks, working normal jobs, doing this. And could you imagine getting $150,000 bonus? Now, true, that's not going to carry you into like generational wealth.
No, but you can quit your job.
You can quit your job. You can pay your dues at the gym, pay back dues.
Yeah, you're taking your camp to the next level at that point, right? because you don't
Yeah.
have to go to work, don't train before work, go to work, train after work, right? You're not, 8 hours a day slaving away, killing yourself and then going back and training again.
And if you were living in the gym already, keep living there. Save that money.
Absolutely. No, get a place. Buy yourself a nice moderate condo.
A moderate condo. Find yourself a nice Airbnb of a person that's about to die. Friend them up really well.
Yes.
Get in the will, right?
Yeah. The gold digger route. I like it.
Yeah, all right. So back to Joaquin. There's only one other kick that I've seen that I thought was there are a few kicks I can name it, but one that comes to mind where I just didn't see it coming. Have you ever seen Lyoto Machida versus Randy Couture? Have you seen that kick of death?
No.
Oh my goodness. So you've seen the Karate Kid before, or at least seen snippets of the Karate Kid
I've
before,
seen Karate
right?
Kid for sure.
Yeah, the crane kick to Daniel-san, catches the guy, perfectly
Yeah.
telegraphed it. Lyoto Machida did that to poor Randy Couture, and it wasn't just that the kick landed that was bad. It was also that Randy Couture was of a certain age, and when he got hit with it, it basically looked like his soul left his body. That's what I was reminded of when I saw Joaquin's kick on a guy that had
you're 100% right. It looks like the soul just left his body.
The crazy thing is, I won't try to butcher the poor young man's name, but the guy that Joaquin landed that kick on, he was getting a lot of hype coming off the Contender Series. We're talking about a guy that has
impa kasanganay.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of fight experience, hasn't been training for a long time, has a lot of natural talent when it comes to striking, physical strength. Obviously has a mind for striking. And I could tell from the offset, I was like, oh, this is going to be a tough night for him. Because he was, Joaquin had the more technical seasoned striking. He was catching him with body shots, moving in and moving away, and then the kick happened. I was like, this is outrageous, man. And perfect way, because I had just gotten home from work, and that was the first thing I saw, and I'm like, it's going to be a good night.
Yeah, you missed a lot of good finishes up until that point, though, too. Or actually, no, they were all decisions up until that point. A lot of good fights, though.
Okay. No, I gotta admit, man, I was really worried about how the UFC was going to be able to pull everything off during COVID, coming back early, like the testing regimen.
Yeah.
And they've managed to put on some really entertaining fights, man, and especially all these fights at Fight Island. And respect to the fighters, man, because it sounds like, to a guy like me and you, right? They're like, hey, you guys are going to Fight Island. Maybe you'll be bucket boys. We wouldn't care that we're being isolated for 12 hours. We would, all amenities paid. We're at Fight Island.
It's 2 weeks. Hotel. You get isolated for 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
I don't care. Guy like me, but we're talking about real fighters. Like these guys, these people came to do a job, and they need to get their bodies are tuned up and they're ready to go. And man, I'm blown away. The UFC has done it again. Now they'll probably go out of business after this because I don't know what source of revenue they're getting. I mean, from besides ad money. I assume ESPN is footing the bill on some of these events, right?
All of them, I think.
Really?
Yeah, they're getting paid X amount of money per event, if I remember correctly, for it to be on ESPN. So they're essentially footing the bill for everything. Other than that guy's fucking knockout, they did not foot the bill for that. They came out of Dana's cut.
They're like, Danny, he's got enough money, right? What is he?
100 millionaire, probably.
Yeah, he's got more than that stashed away too.
Yeah, I mean, the people who say what their net worth are is what they want you to know what it is, right?
Yeah.
The people who are actually the richest people in the world don't tell you what the net worth is, but yeah, the UFC has been fantastic since we launched back, and it's been very, very good. It's been fun.
Dude. You're the business guy of the two of us, right? I let you do my taxes. By the way, they've been sending me letters about.
Don't respond.
Okay, but so I'm good, right?
Right.
Just give it to me right now, man. Can you name another organization that you can say is doing as well as them right now? Is there anything? Because you watch, like, how's the NHL doing compared to the
NHL
UFC?
is over. But the NHL historically doesn't do as well as any of the major sporting leagues, right? It's the smallest one, but it's also the quickest growing. So the NHL, I think they did very well, because you got to remember the time that the NHL had started back up, it was the first sport back on, right? And then it went right into playoffs, and playoff hockey is the best. It's just the best, honestly. Playoff hockey, like Stanley Cup hockey, I think is more exciting than any other sporting event than I've ever personally been to, and definitely have ever watched. Right, you got to remember, I've been to football playoff games, I've been to baseball playoff games, I've been to hockey playoff games, right? I've been to like NASCAR events. Like I've been to a lot of different like random stuff, and by far the energy in a playoff hockey game is the best. So it's exciting to watch. So it always does really well during playoffs. And I think they did just averagely well. I don't think they did anything extraordinary. The NBA obviously is struggling quite a bit compared to everyone else. NFL is going to be struggling. You know, everyone thinks it's the political stuff going on with the NFL, but honestly, I'll tell you what it is with the NFL is how slow the fucking game is. Right?
You think so?
I think is it's gotten progressively slower over the years, right? And less physical. Oddly enough, right? You can't touch the quarterback anymore realistically. You can't touch the kicker anymore. Like there's a number of things you can't do anymore. And it slows the pace of the play down. Like there's a bunch of things wrong with football at the moment. And I don't know. I stopped watching in 2011 after the Packers won the Super Bowl. So I haven't watched since.
That was a good game, though. That was a good game.
So only as the one time in my life, 2 times actually, is the one of 2 times in my life that I could vividly remember seeing my father cry. Is because he's been such a huge he's been a Packers fan since he was a kid, man. And he watched him in '96, obviously the year that I was born. And that time we watched every playoff game together. Yeah, it was the only time. It was so happy. It's interesting.
Dude, you know what, man? I'm not ashamed to admit this, right? When you came over that night, when Dominic Reyes and Jones fight, I can say this now. We're removed from the situation. I was literally not going to cry, but that feeling started coming over me towards the end of that fight. Like I looked at you at one point, you were just kind of looking at me like, I don't know, man. I'm just like, remember I turned to my wife, I was like, I think he did it now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think crying's a bad thing, but yeah, I just don't think football's in a good place right now. Most people are gonna think it's because whatever reasons, or political or non-political, social justice, non-social justice, whatever it is. The game has slowed down significantly over the last 10 years. So it's made it very boring to watch, in my opinion. I feel like racing is like F1 is the most exciting sport on right now, excluding fighting. But F1 is because it's like Lewis Hamilton just won again. He wins everything. Is now tied for the most F1 wins of all time, tied with Michael Schumacher at 91 wins. Right, he's going to win the championship again. He's going to be tied for the most championships won as an F1 driver. Like you're seeing like potentially the greatest F1 driver ever to live racing right now. Right, and you're seeing fighting. You're seeing the best fighters to ever live fighting right now. Right, LeBron James is winning championships. Right, making an argument for being the best player to ever live. Right, so you know the sports right now are the best they've ever been. Let's be fair. Right. So it's really easy for fighting to be like, wow, fighting is amazing right now. So because everyone's getting better, everyone's getting more exciting. Everyone could do these taekwondo kicks now, where 15 years ago the UFC was boxers, wrestlers, and jiu-jitsu guys, right?
So you actually bring up a really good point, considering where it came from, because the term mixed martial arts, it was supposed to be like it was originally a tournament to declare to see which
who's the best martial artist, right?
Or what the best style of martial arts is. But you're 100% correct in the way that the athletes and MMA, I'll put the entire bubble out there, are training now. Obviously, they have access to nutritionists, physical therapy.
Science has progressed everything so far.
It's huge. And now we're seeing technique come back, because there was a time when actually traditional martial artists that use taekwondo stances or karate stances, they did not do really well in early MMA. Actually, Lyoto Machida was the guy who kind of broke that mold. And I remember Dana was not pumped when he first signed him. Like he was pumped, but he was just kind of like, this may be kind of a niche fighter because of his karate background, and Lyoto is such a karate purist. But he did have a black belt in jiu-jitsu. But he was the guy that kind of broke the mold. And now we see, a lot of guys are attempting technique. A lot of guys and women are attempting techniques that they normally would not have done back in the day. And I think that all starts with a great wrestling base. People are learning how to wrestle, and they're spending enough time understanding how to work off their back and how to scramble back up. And to think we came from the days where it's like sprawl and brawl, man. That's your best chance right here, bro.
So I mean, ultimately, if you really look at it, the answer to that question, what the best martial art is a wrestler with a little bit of striking, right? Because everything ultimately comes back to wrestling eventually.
Yeah.
And how well he could chain wrestle and how well he could pressure someone on the ground. That's all fights go there, right? Unless there's a knockout. But you need to know just enough about striking to get to the ground.
So yeah, I absolutely 100% agree with that. The crazy thing about it is learning how to create an offense in those scrambles. So some of the best guys best guys and women that know how to inflict damage. Like let's take the last Holly Holmes fight. So she's obviously moved from a place where she's just trying to hold people up against the cage when she's utilizing her wrestling, and now she realizes she's like, I got to inflict some damage, like in these scrambles. I got to hit him with an elbow. I got to make you pay in every transition. And I think a lot of people could really, really take an example from two people in this regard. GSP, go back, watch any of his fights. GSP, when he's wrestling, he's active on the top, and he's also trying to hurt you at the same time. Perfect example of that, him versus Matt Serra. Definitely trying to hurt him. And then obviously Khabib. Yeah. Khabib is really a guy because a lot of people gas when they have a dominant position in wrestling. They don't know how to keep striking and pull back to like maybe 45%. Khabib's not hitting people with world-breaking shots when he's grounded and pounding them. Sometimes.
Every once in a while you get one in there. But he's hitting volume, right? He's the Diaz brother on the ground, right? Diaz brothers have always been notorious for 45, 50, 60%. And Colby Covington has really taken that to the next level now.
Oh, yeah.
And just really laying the pressure on you instead of, just hitting you for one knockout, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, famously, like, look at Chael versus Anderson Silva 1. Now, Chael had done everything right up until
5 seconds left or so, 2 minutes left, or whatever it was, and gets hit with a triangle.
Yeah, he had done everything right, controlled that position. But yes, to your original point, I think that wrestling is the best base that you can have. So if you're coming into mixed martial arts, in my humble opinion, a guy like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson did it correct. Spent a lot of time working with Chris Weidman, a lot of time working with high-level wrestlers to get himself to a place where he can feel comfortable to let his striking really fly, because he's not worried about getting taken down all the time. I mean, obviously, when you're going up against the monster version of Tyron Woodley, some of that
I was going to
stuff.
say Tyron is a really good example of that as well, where his striking is really good, but had very, very good wrestling.
Yeah, and then it stopped. It all stopped. I
don't know what the Tyron Woodley issue is, man. I wish I did. I wish I knew. Obviously he'd kill me with one hand tied behind his back, but I want to know, eventually what happened, right? Yeah. What happened to the Tyron of old, and what happened to the Tyron that we all watched become a champion? Not we all, watched become a champion.
I think it's because it was a different athletic path, because we have to remember he had a collegiate career of wrestling. Him, Daniel Cormier, other guys like him. So I wonder if after one,
Colby,
like even look at DC, but we'll stay on Tyron for a second. Tyron's wrestling all of a sudden stopped after the Wonderboy Thompson fight. He used it with Darren Till after he knocked him down, and then he was controlling him, obviously.
Yeah, but like that was a knocked out Darren Till. That was a knockout punch. Let's be fair, right?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if his body finally gave out. Like if his knees, you rely on those. We'll never know, and he'll never admit to it.
Well, he might after he retires, right? That's a thing. Right. But you gotta look at a guy like Kamaru Usman, who literally can't do road work because his knees are so bad. He could barely walk. His knees were so bad at one point he couldn't walk on sidewalks. Right, he had to walk on the grass next to the sidewalk because his knees were so bad.
That man is made out of Nigerian steel. There is no quitting that dude, man.
He did something, I guess, and fixed a lot of his knee issues. He talked about it on Rogan when he was on it. I can't remember what it was. Stem cells, maybe.
Probably. With Tyron, though, man. I'm thinking retirement's near. I think it's very near.
One or two more fights for sure.
One or two more fights.
I think if he loses again, I don't even know how many he lost in a row.
Well, I mean, they got to give him the legacy fight, right? They got to give him the Uriah Faber treatment. And hopefully if he retires, he stays retired, unlike Uriah Faber. But I actually wouldn't mind seeing Tyron back in the analyst booth, man. Have you ever?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He speaks really well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He's lost 3 in a row. Okay. Yeah. To be fair, it's to 3 incredible fighters. Usman, Gilbert Burns, and Colby Covington.
Come on, man. He broke his own rib. That's how tough he is, man.
No, Colby did that. But you know, I get it. He's been winding up that right hand for 15 rounds now.
Yeah. He's gonna throw it any time now. It's
coming. But yeah, he's had a long career. He's had a long career.
Dude, he's fought the who's who in Strikeforce and in the UFC.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, give him some time off, give him that legacy fight, and then let's get him back in the booth, because I cannot listen to Angela Hill and Micah Chiesa anymore, dude. It's not.
I like Chiesa.
No, it's not. Well, you know what? He's getting better. Obviously, they got him working with someone. Angela Hill,
she's off the rails.
Not the place for her, man. Her and Michelle Waterson, right? It's just you either got it or you don't. If they hit us up, we'll handle it for Dana, man.
Dude, I would do that. I would do it down.
Like Steve and Zach are still drinking. We're not sure back to the show. They've actually been fighting for 20 minutes straight about avocados in the back.
Avocados are fantastic. I don't know how you would fight about that.
There's no need to fight about avocados. It's just you fight about how you use the avocado. I am a guy that thinks avocados should be pasted with a little bit of tomatoes, some pepper, some cayennes in there. Make it nice.
Making guac?
Huh?
Making guac?
Yeah. Some guac. I that's my preferred method. Maybe some cut avocados, olive oil on some toast. Also very delicious.
Listen, you give me an avocado, I'll eat it any way you want. I'll eat it with a fucking spoon if you really wanted me to.
I went in a grocery store and just took a bite out of one day, and people thought I was a cannibal.
Well, we've all gotten kicked out of a grocery store once or twice.
But one last thing about poor Tyrant, and then we'll get back to the original topic of the preferred fighting style. Here's what I would like to see from Tyron Woodley, man. I would really, really like him to go out against another fighter who is probably on their way. So we can't put him up against Robbie again, right? Because we know how it's going to go. I wouldn't, and Ben Askren is out of the UFC, and they were teammates. They'll never fight. He can't fight Showtime Pettis. So who do we give him that's a legacy fight to kind of send him off to?
I don't even know.
I'm trying to think if there's. Don't give him Neil Magny. Don't feed him to Neil Magny, right? Because Neil's just looking for a fight to like catapult him back into the thing. Carlos Condit. Boom. We get Condit versus Tyron Woodley. The do-over. Because that fight ended kind of unceremoniously. Like, even though Tyron did injure him with the lead kick, and you have to give him that TKO 100%.
Sure.
Run it back.
Condit looked not bad, right? He just fought, right?
Who, Condit? Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't look bad.
No, he didn't look bad.
A little slow,
a little slow. He's always been kind of a slower fighter, you know.
Okay.
It's methodical is the word that Mike Goldie would use when
Woody,
he couldn't.
Okay.
He's a methodical, focused fighter, and I'm like, that's
It's very indecisive. I mean, I didn't mean to say that.
But would you watch that? I would watch that on the Fox. I would watch that on the ESPN card.
Yes, I would also, in another vein of this, in a winner retires, loser retires fight,
right?
Cowboy versus Diego Sanchez.
Oh, you're trying to get Diego murdered. Did you notice that Diego in his last fight, that would be a good matchup, by the way, tried to do the
Masvidal? The knee. Started out the third round with his hands behind his back and just waited for a second, and then did a jump knee. But I don't want to call it a flying knee because it was more of a hop knee. It was more of like it would have been better done in the clinch.
Dude, when he did it, I was just like, man, his medications definitely need to be readjusted at this point. And again,
get him a real fucking camp, dude. Get him a real camp. Did we talk about his coach confronting Matt Serra on here?
No. Is that a thing?
Matt Serra was at like breakfast or something in Abu Dhabi. I think it might be Mick Maynard who pulled out his phone and recorded this. The only reason we know about this. And he comes up to him. He's like, and he has his mask on. Right? You can't tell who he is. And he's like, hey, why didn't you say my name? And Sarah's like, I don't know. Who are you? Like, I don't know who you are. And he takes his mask off. He's like Diego's coach or whatever. And like, listen. He's like, I didn't know your name. What's your name? I still don't know your name. And he's like, well, why didn't you say my name? Why? He was like, well, I just told you why. And also, Diego, I got a lot of respect for that guy. You're not my kind of guy. Thanks. They're just like, I'm like, what are you gonna do to Matt Serra?
Nothing, because you're gonna learn a real lesson, just like the other host that used to be on Dana White's Looking for a Fight. Have you heard about this? The
Who?
toothless guy. So there was another guy that was on that show when they first started, and apparently this guy comes up to Matt Serra, and this guy was a purple belt. I got to look up his name, but he was a purple belt, and he actually says to Matt Serra, he's like, "Hey, Serra, everything's good between us. We just got to work out the jiu-jitsu thing." And Matt Serra's just kind of like, "What? What's up?" He's like, "What's the workout?" And I guess they went somewhere where there was a gym, and Matt's like, "Yeah, I think I'd show him a thing or two," and wrecked this guy's life. Choked him every which way. Matt Serra, if nothing else, not the greatest striker when he was in the UFC, was a powerful guy, but he is a legit. And when I say legit black belt, like this,
legit.
Like they didn't just hand that to him because he's been at it for quite some time now, right? You know, it's like this man, he can hurt you, dude.
Yeah,
and,
for
Diego
sure.
Sanchez's coach with the invisible force fields and moving around and chasing his fighters around with knives. I don't know if you saw that footage leak out on the internet, but
he chases them with knives.
I'm sorry, my laugh and the clips is so bad, but I'm genuinely amazed. Like, could you imagine walking into the gym and it's like, "Hey, so what are we working on?" What the hell?
I don't, dude. Even if I was Diego Sanchez and I'm trying to put myself in that state of mind, I would walk in and this motherfucker starts chasing me with a knife. First of all, I'm gonna trip him because he's not gonna actually stab me, right? He's not that dumb, and just kind of hope he lands on the knife.
Yeah, but here's the crazy thing, Zach. What do you do if you confront this guy? Because now we all think he's an idiot, right?
And now he has a knife.
But we see him in the streets, and let's say this MFer can actually use force fields. Like, we attack him, and he's just like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" Actually, that would never happen. We'd beat that poor man to death.
Oh my god, it wouldn't even be a question. There's no such thing as force fields. What the fuck are you talking about?
But the funny thing was Diego must have heard some of the voices of reason, because he brought Stephen Bonner with him to this fight. I don't know if Stephen Bonner was actually cornering him, giving him sound advice in the corner. The problem with Diego is, man, he's up there in age, and he just, at this point, it's amazing that he's still allowed to compete, because he can't compete at this level any longer, and you got to give him respect. But I'm just put him in a Hall of Fame. He's already in for one of the fights. That's it.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the pioneers, right?
Yeah, call it quits, man. And
it's same thing with the BJ Penn thing, right? Like,
oh boy,
you know, it's these guys. You almost worry about them when they don't have a training camp, right? Of what they would or won't do, and that's what the people around BJ Penn said. Was like, we actually worried more about it. I guess it's been better. I haven't heard anything about BJ Penn getting knocked out in street fights anymore.
Right.
They were legitimately worried about him when he wasn't in a training camp. They were worried about what he was going to do with his life, right? So I hope BJ Penn found some stuff there.
Well, I mean, I'm speaking from experience from a previous job. I think sometimes I understand we take away the structure from someone, and then it just leaves him a lot of time to do things. But at the same time, Diego has a well of information he could be passing along to newer fighters and guys coming up. Yeah, exactly. He'd be a great coach. But someone's got to be honest with him and say, "Hey, man, like, we want the real information from you. We don't need this guy in the background, right?
Yeah,
we don't
get
need
rid of this fucking guy."
Like, I understand that he brings a level of calmness to your life, but the truth of the matter is, you know more about fighting and you know more about life than this guy knows, with all of his fake Krav Maga. Mixed martial arts and martial arts in general has worked really hard to move away from those type of psychopaths.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, the guys with the opening up fake kung fu schools and
but
unverified
it still happens, right? Here's the issue: is it still fucking happens.
Absolutely.
And, it's hilarious when those guys get exposed. The force field guys are the best. Have you seen the video of the force field guy where he puts a small woman up there? He's like, "All right, you stand right there. I'm going to run full force at you." This guy's like 185 pounds, right? It's like, he's not a big guy, but he's a bigger guy. And this woman's like 105 pounds, soaking wet. He's like, "All right, stand right here like this," and he fucking trucks her, just runs straight into her, and pretends to be hurt on the ground next to her. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Wait. What was the pitch there? Like, "Hey, you're a black belt now, so your force field."
Yeah, your force field's good enough to protect you from me. And he runs at her and just runs her over. And she's on the ground, like, crying or whatever, or trying to catch her breath, right? And he's on the ground going, "Nah, nah, 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 nah."
No, here's the real deal, right? He didn't like her. He's like, Karen, I promise
or
you.
she didn't put out.
Right, you're exactly where you, or she didn't get him off before the jacuzzi.
Right.
We're going X-rated now. That's what really another great version of that. Someone getting exposed is this kung fu master
Hilarious.
in China. Yeah, you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He's in the Tai Chi stance. And look, I'm not disparaging traditional martial arts at all. I think it still serves a great purpose and understanding of fighting. But the fact of the matter is, there's a point to fighting, and the point is to do the damage in the quickest, most direct path. That's exactly what happened to the Tai Chi master. His force field failed. And like the MMA fighter had him up in the air and twisted that dude up like a pretzel. It was pretty beautiful to watch. So Diego, get away from that psychopath. Let's get you.
I'm watching the video, and this guy runs this woman over and then is on the ground having an exorcism.
You gotta send me that after the show.
Don't worry, it's bookmarked already. I have a whole folder of bookmarks for after show videos.
Dude, just speaking of, all right, so this is something I've been waiting to talk to you about, because I already know you're gonna say you don't care because it's Conor, but I need you to dig a little bit deeper, buddy.
Conor versus Poirier too. I'm very excited for this. I wouldn't worry about timestamps on this video. This is all UFC talk, and we've already gone through 3 topics, and you haven't timestamped anything yet. I wouldn't worry about it for this video. No, this is interesting, right? It's interesting. The charitable donation, the $500,000 charitable donation, very interesting. It's hard for me to get excited for Conor, right? When's the last time he really fought, right? He had a training camp for Cowboy. But this is, again, if this was Cowboy 5 years ago, that fight's way different, right?
You think so?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I do. Conor now versus Cowboy 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever. Take your pick, right? I think it's different. It doesn't go into a clinch and Cowboy gets knocked out with a fucking shoulder strike. This is not how it happens. Yeah, there's a number of things. Poirier, I'm excited for, right? I'm excited Poirier's going to get the fight. I'm excited to watch Poirier fight. I can't get excited for Conor anymore.
See, here's what I think is happening, right? And this is a good case study. I think sometimes in all the hype of Conor and all the grandeur and all the promotion, self-promotion and self-aggrandizing and all that stuff, we forget that he is an elite level combat.
No, don't get me wrong. I understand how good Conor is, right?
Yeah.
But how good is Conor in MMA anymore? He got beat up by Khabib. He beat Cowboy in 45 seconds. But then went to boxing, and it was boxing before that. So realistically, he hasn't had, and it's 18 months in between each fight.
All right, but if we look prior to Mayweather, he had the best string of fights in the UFC.
Sure.
Even the first fight.
This is 5 years ago, Steve.
This is 5. Is it 5? Has it been 5 already?
I'll tell you in a second, but
I've been doing a lot of.
It's at least 4.
It's got to be 3.5, 4. I would say. When was the Mayweather fight? That was like, oh, you know what? That was like
the Mayweather was 2017, August of 2017.
Woo.
So the last time he fought Eddie Alvarez in November of 2016. It's been 4 years.
That was probably the best Conor.
It's very good. Yeah, he looked very, very good.
Oh, he was on Super Saiyan. Like, that was a legit perfect fight for him. The one lick of damage he took in that fight was a leg kick, where I thought Eddie threw a leg kick that stunned and kind of staggered Conor, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be the fight. It's gonna be leg kicks on the lead leg. And then he just boxed him up.
Yeah. This is 4 years ago since his last legitimate fight, and then it was 2 years after that he got a title shot against Khabib and got smoked. Right. I don't agree that Conor won a round. I don't think he did.
Which one did they give him?
2 maybe.
Yeah.
2 or 3. I can't remember which one was which. Whatever one he didn't get dropped in. And then he fucking fought a 40-second fight against Cowboy. Right. And a Cowboy who's 5 years out of his prime.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. I disagree with the fact that he wouldn't have been able to do that to Cowboy. He wouldn't have got him out of that quickly.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he would have got out of that quickly. I would have. That fight would be more legitimate in my head if it was Cowboy of X amount of years ago and it went to round 2 or 3 before Conor finished him. I think Conor finishes him. Right? Don't get me wrong. I think Conor finishes Cowboy. I don't think Cowboy wins the fight, but I also don't. I also think Cowboy hits him. You know,
Yeah.
I think Cowboy hits him 5 years ago, and that to me is why it's not that great of a legitimate, a legitimate thing. But it was also fought at what fucking weight? Welterweight.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, here's gonna be an interesting thing against him and Poirier. So right, let's look at it systematically.
What
And let's look
weight
at,
is it? What weight is he at?
I think this is gonna happen at 155. I'm pretty
Is it
sure.
really? Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I would be really. I mean, not that Poirier can't make it to 170 comfortably. He's actually had not struggled to get to 155, but he's a bigger dude. And I'm sure
I agree.
he can get to welterweight easily. But here's the fight as I see it. Right, if we're just looking at the fighter attributes, Dustin Poirier has really good dirty boxing. Has really good boxing in general. In the clinch, outside of the clinch, great movement. He has really good jiu-jitsu. His head movement is great, and when he needs to, he can get some offensive wrestling in there. Traditionally, we know these are all things, except for the boxing, which will give Conor trouble. The question becomes whether or not is Dustin Poirier going to use it in this fight. Now, you want to talk about force fields, like weird kung fu magic? Go back and watch the first fight between Dustin and Conor.
Right.
Now, I know Conor had legit gotten into his head because it doesn't make sense, the strategy. like Conor came out and he pressed forward, and it was almost like Dustin shrimped into himself.
Mhm.
And I'd never seen him fight like that ever in his career. And I know he got caught with a kind of a sloppy hook that kind of gave him pause.
Sure.
But I don't understand the strategy there. I think that this fight is going to go a lot different. I think we're going to barn burn it, because then let's flip the cards and let's go over and look at Conor. Now, if you told me you weren't excited about Conor for these reasons, you would 100% have me sold. Conor, I still don't know what level belt or no gi he is with jiu-jitsu. I know he's getting a lot better scrambling back to the feet now.
Yeah, he's doing this in preparation to fight Khabib again, apparently, right? But it's just delusions of grandeur with Conor at any given time and any given moment, dude. No, think about it, right? After every one of his recent fights, is, I'm retired. The UFC doesn't this. The UFC won't do that, right? And he plays these fucking games, and it's annoying to watch and annoying to be a fan of. Like you could get excited for this guy because he's a great fighter and he's a good 3-time-a-year fighter, and he could do that probably for the next 5 years, and it would be very good. It would be very good for the sport. It'd be great for everybody. But he went off and did boxing, made $100 million, doesn't care about the money anymore, is not hungry anymore, isn't driven by belts, wants to get a revenge against Khabib, which I don't ever see that fight going a different way, right? Unless we get Gaethje in here and Gaethje really exposes some hole that Khabib apparently has, right? But there is no, the best version of Conor doesn't beat the best version of Khabib, in my opinion.
The only way that happens, the only way he beats Khabib, right, is that Conor's going to have to do something he's never done in his UFC career. He's going to have to develop a jab. Now, I don't know what's going on over there at Straight Blast MMA.
And he was a boxer for a while, right?
No, he was, he started off in boxing, and I think he has some amateur fights, but for the level of hands, I think for the level of hands that he has, it always amazed me that he never throws jabs out there. But you're right. I don't ever have him beating Khabib unless he throws a jab and sets it up with he throws a jab to set up the 1-2. I think Khabib is prone to get hit with a 1-2 after a nice stiff jab. No one's been able to pull it off. Michael Johnson got some of that off, and then it was
listen, I love that you say that. You're like, well, he's prone to this, but it's literally never happened.
Listen, I'm telling you,
Gaethje will put him in a different place. I
hope so.
Gaethje's the best striker he's fought so far.
Let me defend what I'm saying here.
No,
here's
please,
what I'm saying.
please.
This is how I know he's prone to it, right? You gotta look at the fighter attributes, man. You gotta look at the way Khabib holds his hands. But the problem is, people are so worried about something that you yourself have said he rarely does nowadays. They're worried about the double leg takedown when they should be worried about the takedown against the fence as they're moving backwards. I'm telling you, man, I couldn't do it. If I tried to do it, Khabib would literally pick me up and throw me back to my wife and like, I send fat husband back to you. Like,
that's also an issue, right? Is like, everyone's like, oh, this is our game plan, but how the fuck are you going to stop him from coming at you and getting your back up against the fence? You have to circle out and pinch off the cage, and I don't know if anyone can do it. That's the issue, right?
They can't
come to mind. My head, Max Holloway comes to mind.
Max is the greatest to do it.
No, that's not true. He lost to Alexander Volkanovski twice.
Oh shit! I'm getting triggered, folks.
No, but I think Max brings a style of striking that would give Khabib issues. I think Gaethje does too, but I think Gaethje, Gaethje's had what 4 fights in a row now where he hasn't been a brawler, right? Is that where we're at right now? Is it just 2? How easy is it for him to go back to that place and then really get smoked? Right, because if he takes him off of his game plan, takes him off of his center line, Khabib somehow develops a single leg or something other than that weird double leg that he does up against the cage. Is the only thing he ever hits, right? Because actually, let's think about it for a second. Khabib will get you down, but he's not very good at it, right? He's not a Cormier. He's not some guy who's actually really, really good at takedowns. He wears you up against the cage. He pressures you and pulls you down. He doesn't. Yeah. He can't in the middle of the octagon. He can't get a takedown. I don't know if he ever has.
So here's the thing. Here's what he can do really well. And I think this is what's really deceptive about Khabib's grappling. He's really amazing in the scramble. But the reason we haven't seen that in a while is because no one's put him in a position to have
no one's at that level. No one is at that level.
Let's rewind back for a second because you were making a very good point about Gaethje and Khabib, right? So if he switches to the brawler style, we saw a little bit with Poirier versus Khabib that there's also an uppercut there, right? Because Khabib is coming in, he's waiting in.
His hands are out here, right?
Yeah,
he doesn't have any uppercut.
But the problem is the margin of error is so small. So you got to right.
You have to hit him and be gone. You gotta hit him and hope he's out on his fucking feet. Because
exactly. You're right, man. Like, listen, Conor's path to victory with Khabib is very narrow unless he catches him with something that makes. I actually think that it's going to be elbows. I was in agreement with you and Cash in regards to Ferguson. I thought Ferguson was going to make him bleed.
Back.
Yeah, I thought he was going to make him bleed off his back and hit him with stuff that he wasn't seeing coming
anymore.
But in regards to like Conor versus Poirier, man, this is a chance. No matter how Poirier sells it, because he's a really nice guy. You remember Todd Duffy? Todd Duffy is one of the 2 guys to beat Conor McGregor outside of the UFC. I believe he beat him with an arm triangle or something like that. And Todd Duffy.
It's Joseph Duffy, not Todd Duffy.
Todd Duffy's the big guy.
Yeah,
Joseph Duffy. Yeah. So he fought Poirier on the second Ireland card on Fight Pass. Amazing fight. Everyone was saying, is this going to be some type of redemption fight for you? Because this is the guy that beat Conor. Poirier, as usual, humble and cool as a cucumber. He's like, no, this is a fight between me and this guy. And he damn near killed him. Damn near starched him. And I know that he's coming into this fight like, I should not have lost that first fight. In fact, a lot of people think that maybe Conor got lucky with that punch. I don't think so. I think the placement was perfect. It got him down, and he beat the shit out of Poirier on the ground. I think Poirier's going to come in here looking to prove a point, and he's going to try to, pardon my language, everyone, for all my family-friendly friends. I think Poirier's going to come in here. He's going to try to fuck Conor up, dude. I really think Poirier's going to come in and he's like going to inflict damage. But the problem becomes, which Conor are we going to see? Which Conor are we going to see? Are we going to see the striking virtuoso who showed up against Eddie Alvarez? Maybe. This might be the greatest fight for that to come out. I thought it would have been against Cowboy, but we'll see. I'm going to go against it. I'm going to go against the grain. I got Poirier winning this fight.
The only reason I would agree with you, right? And listen, I am as little of a Conor fan as you could possibly be at this point, just because of his antics and how little he's actually fought. Let's be fair. I agree with you just because Poirier has been active. And he's been active against the best of the best in that division, right? He took the Dan Hooker fight. Again, Dan Hooker's making a good run at it, or was making a good run at it until he met Poirier. He's fighting in the top 5 every time, making an argument that he could have another shot at the title, right? Legitimately, whoever wins this apparently is going to get a title shot, from what I've heard. Unless it's Conor, because Khabib just doesn't want to fight him. He couldn't give a fuck less, right? If Poirier makes an argument if he wins, Conor makes an argument if he wins, but I'll go with you on this one. I'll take Poirier.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to bring into the particulars like we did see in the Dan Hooker fight, and I think he stopped Dan Hooker dead in his tracks. And I'm talking about making it a real fight. I think Dan Hooker came in there definitely a little overconfident in his skills,
Sure.
thinking that he was just going to be able to outstrike Poirier, and not realizing
How good of a
that
striker he
Poirier,
is.
how good of a striker Poirier is. And also, there's something dangerous about punches and bunches, especially when that guy's got power in both hands. And that was something we saw with Max. Max had a hard time dealing
Yeah.
with the power and the amount of punches that Poirier throws. It's going to be an interesting fight, but I think this is it for Conor. If Conor doesn't win this, you got to know when to call it quits, right? You came in the fight game at a perfect time. Your ascent to the top was amazing, maybe
Sure.
even helped a little bit. And but no one will ever be able to take away the Eddie Alvarez fight. They won't be able to take away him versus Diaz too. That was
Chad
a great
Mendes.
fight for him. Chad Mendes. That was, in my mind, when I think of Conor, that is his crown moment.
He showed adversity, right? He battled through adversity, getting held down for 2 rounds in a row or something.
Dude, and go back and look at that fight. That was some amazing striking. That last sequence of hits he caught Chad Mendes with. Poor Chad. All the steroids started coming out of his system. Like, he couldn't take it anymore.
Out through his nose, yeah.
Yeah. I wish that we could do this. Is a perfect Zach Steve fight night at the house type of fight, but it's just not gonna happen because you're a disease sick man, and I just can't risk my family's health around you. Actually, we're probably more dangerous for you now that I think about it.
Very much so. Yeah, so that's what I feel is, man. It's hard for me, like, for lack of a better phrase, it's hard for me to get out of bed to watch a Conor fight, right? It's hard for me to get excited for. It's hard for me to even want to know it because it's like
it's right behind you too.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like this is a fight's gonna happen, and it's like, okay, cool. We'll all get excited about Conor. We'll all get scammed again, right? And it'll be another 2 years before we see another Conor fight, right? Conor's one of the people that when he fights a lot is when he's the most exciting, and I can't stand waiting around 18 months to watch him fight again.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing about this fight was I think I really enjoyed Chael's breakdown of this. And I think Chael does have a good assessment of Conor, but he's also doing a little promoting for him too, because he sees a lot of himself in Conor, which is that Conor's the one that pushed for this fight to be before the year was up.
Right.
He said, he's like, let's do it now. I don't want to wait until you guys can build it up. And I think that was some of his demise, man. And he had been hinting at that, him being Conor. Like, you got to do the promotion, right? Everyone's got to do that, except for Ronda, right? And I think that maybe some of that stuff started getting in the way of what actually should be important, which is you need to be getting ready for your opponent, and that needs to be your mental focus. And Dana, you know how he gets down. Like, I need you out in front of the cameras. I need you doing presses.
Didn't he refuse to do press for the Khabib fight?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Which makes it even like confirming my point. The fact that he'll never. I don't think he'll ever beat Khabib. I don't think he'll ever beat Khabib.
If this was a fighting game and it was Conor versus Khabib, you would have to roll a perfect fight to beat him. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's either that or it's one hit point that you survived with. You did it, but you didn't do it pretty.
But
it's a type of situation.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I 100% agree. It's just hard. Again, it's hard for me to get excited for Conor. He's the biggest casual draw in the world at the moment, right?
Great for the sport.
It's great for the sport. It's great for everyone fighting that night. I just couldn't give a shit, man. I really could not.
Here's the thing, man. And you know what? I like that we're on this subject because so let's talk a little bit more about Khabib, because the last episode you were talking about his star power, and we had gotten into that conversation. Does it translate into pay-per-view buys? And it doesn't. I think it should. I think people should be able to look at a fighter like Khabib and go, man, there is something special about this guy. But here's something else.
This card will sell really well, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But here's something else. We've talked about it a little bit, but and where I'm going with this. Khabib, in my mind, what makes him different than a Ronda Rousey, right? What makes him different than a Mackenzie Dern? Essentially, he is a one-trick pony, and he's extremely good. It's just that his pony comes with a lot of other things in it, right? Sambo.
He's the best ground and pound artist ever, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. Here's what I need to see, right? And I'm calling it, Zach, man. Just remember, when you put this on my funeral, like on my tombstone, his knockout, his demise will look as bad as Ronda's.
You've said this 100 times, and I agree.
Like, when someone figures it out, man, when they figure out how not to be intimidated by what's coming at them, and they say, and I think this is where Gaethje's best weapon. Kevin Gaethje's just crazy enough. Justin Gaethje's just crazy enough. Been through just enough shit.
Right.
You understand where I'm going with this,
yeah,
right? Where
right. He's the most violent man in the most violent sport, right?
Yeah.
But
and he's been hit in the head enough where maybe his survival instincts, his fight or flight, doesn't realize what's coming up.
Yeah, but again, everyone has a plan until they get hit in the face, right? The famous Mike Tyson quote. But this isn't that. He's not going to get hit in the face. Maybe once. He's going to get fucking drug into the deep waters, and Gaethje's been he's been known to have a fairly good cardio, right? I'm trying to recall on this. He has very, very good cardio. He has to with the fucking output he has, right? The most strikes per minute in lightweight history, and accuracy is incredible. All of this, but have we seen Khabib get rocked?
Yes, the greatest to ever do it, Michael Johnson.
But
straight up
hit him.
Hold on. No, not just hit him. He straight up stunned him, and his legs wobbled so much so when Khabib got back to his corner, his head coach said to him, was like, "That's not gonna work." you cannot stand with him. This is like on the record. He's like, you need to.
But his striking has gotten better since then. Let's be fair, not Gaethje level. It has. You can look. It went from rudimentary to novice. Not great, but you can see improvements in his game, right?
No, fair. Absolutely. I won't disparage him there.
Not anywhere, not even intermediate.
Let's just say no celebrity boxers are calling for a match with Khabib, unless they were looking for the easiest path.
And I still can't believe he at one point said that he wanted to box Floyd Mayweather. I don't see how that's a good idea in any facet.
You know what's great about Floyd, man? He takes these fights, these super fights with these other combat athletes, and he's like, yeah, he's probably got a chance of beating me. Beat Conor like he owed him money. I forget the kid's name. Outside the kickboxer or the Muay Thai.
That was so fake.
Dude, if he walked that dude down.
That was fake, dude. It's pretty much been almost confirmed to have been faked.
Listen to me. The only thing fake in this life is this mustache in the WWE. All right, that's it.
That's a good point.
That's it. But I get what you're saying. Khabib's striking has gotten better, right?
But hold on. Let's say it's not great. You go to 3 boxing classes, you and Khabib are fairly even.
I think Justin Gaethje has got to bring in that inside leg kick, man, and he's got to bring the inside leg kick in, and he's got to make Khabib pay for trying to walk him down, and you just got to move off the line, I think, right?
Yes, yeah. You have to, because I feel like any sort of movement on Khabib at all is going to throw him off a little bit. But let's see, right? Because there's a reason Khabib is 28-0, 29-0, whatever it is, right? There's a reason, he's not a slouch, and he's fought, good people. So
can you imagine there was a time when him and Showtime Pettis were going to fight? Could you imagine how bad that was going to go for Pettis? Just think about that for a second, dude. Just think, like, there was a time. All right, Rafael Dos Santos, RDA, man, he fought Khabib. I can't remember if it was Khabib or friggin' what's this psychopath's name? The carpenter, Clay Guida, who broke his jaw. But both fight. Yeah, that's what they call him because he looks like white Jesus. But he fought that guy, destroyed him. Look what he did to Abel Trio. Completely showed that he was, and to think that Showtime Pettis was at the top of that division, and that's what he was going to head into. It would have been a horrible fight. Yeah. Actually, you know what they should have gave Conor instead of Poirier? They should have gave him Pettis.
No, Poirier is a way better fight, and if Poirier wins, it gives him the next title shot, right? That's what they're doing. They're setting up this next title shot.
I know they're setting it up, man, but listen, I'm telling you for a fact, Poirier is going to stop this man. Now, Conor's only been tapped before. He's never been knocked out. Okay. I do believe
he's only been knocked down one time.
Who's he been knocked out by?
Knocked down.
Oh yeah, only been knocked down one time.
And by Khabib.
And by Diaz.
No, he was only one knockdown on record.
Wait, Diaz didn't drop him? No, he stunned him, and then Conor shot him. And then Connor shot in for a takedown for the first time in his life. I think, what's wrong? Your cat starting beef with you over there? What's going on?
Yes.
I saw him come in the room, just walk through the shot like F your shot. I honestly think Dustin takes Connor out by TKO, but
Okay.
I think that if I'm looking at the Gaethje fight, and I'm just trying to formulate my thoughts because this is going to be on the record, so I'm finally ready and I'm comfortable enough to pick the winner for this fight, and I'm going Gaethje, and I'm going against every instinct in my body that's screaming at me right now.
Okay.
I'm putting all the kids' college money down on this fight.
$8. Got it. Okay.
All 12 cents. Like, I'm going
I'll
Gaethje,
take that
man.
bet. Yeah, man, I don't think so. Gaethje would have to again roll a perfect fight.
You're a Russian plant.
No, I wish, dude. I wish I had that kind of money. I just don't see. Listen, Gaethje has the power to hit him and put him down or out, right? But I don't think we've ever seen him get hit that hard, right? And I don't think we've ever seen Khabib really ever have to go through those paces of getting dropped, guy on top of you. We've never seen anyone on top of Khabib in that manner, right?
Yeah,
we don't know how he reacts to that. We don't know if he
scrambles. The man is an amazing. Yeah, he's going. I'm telling you right now, if you get on top of him, you've already lost the fight. Yeah. Because he's going to hook your
reverse
leg.
It. Yep.
Yeah,
right. And is he? Could he hit fucking a triangle from the bottom? What could he do? Right. Like that's the question. We don't know. We don't know the answer to that. And we don't know until someone gets on top of him. Now, do I think Gaethje has the best chance of doing that? I do. I do 100%. But then we get to the second level of this final boss that is Khabib, right? The phase 2, as we'll call it. We don't know what the hell happens past that.
You know what's really funny, man? I love MMA fans, and I mean this. I'm not being sarcastic because
they're a bunch of morons.
When they see greatness in someone, the next thing they do is we all do. We're all guilty of it. We want to send them off to their death by saying, "Hey, let's see how he does against the champion above him." So people were talking. This was actually a conversation people were having
versus
on the worst
Usman?
place on earth. Yeah, in Facebook, and they were like, "We want to see Khabib versus Usman." I'm like, "Why would you do that?
No,
he's not going to win that fight. 100%. I have Usman, and you know what? They're really good friends too."
They are really, really good friends, actually.
I have Usman winning that fight because we're not just talking about another Johnny Hendricks style welterweight wrestler, right? Johnny Hendricks had some great wrestling, but after a while that diminished into the power shot. Kamaru Usman is no idiot.
Really?
And I believe his caliber of wrestling, even though it's Roman Greco, I'm not disparaging Roman Greco wrestling at all. I think it goes with the level of his intelligence, his capability, and I think his physicality. He's a friggin' powerhouse.
Yeah,
he is absolutely. And I 100% believe had the fight gone to grappling with him and Colby, no one wanted to gas themselves in that fight, right?
Right. I get that. I totally get that.
But I definitely think he would have got the better of the scrambles there. But we'll never know, and we will never know about the Khabib thing. But I agree with you, man. I'm already instantly regretting my pick. We haven't seen phase 2 or even possibly phase 3 because I'm sure there's another gear behind there. And,
right? Can he throw submissions from the bottom? Is my question. My guess is probably yes.
Yes.
Right. My guess is probably yes. And fuck, we might not know. He might even throw heel hooks in there at some point, right? We have no idea. We legitimately have zero idea of what his capabilities are off of his back.
And if you look what he does to guys that are supposed, like, man, when I think about the Edson Barboza fight between him, now there was the fight where I was like, man, we're going to see his legs get tested for the first time. Because I'm thinking the strategy is Edson's going to hit him with leg kicks and move off. Hit him with leg, and he looked good in his fight, by the way. He looked really
Barboza looked very good, yeah. I agree.
I think he's going to run the gambit on that division. I'm calling it now. But
decent
again,
chance.
Khabib shut down the offense fairly easy, and I think a lot of that had to do with intimidation. Gaethje, man, you got a stiff test in front of you, man. I hope you're just not another beer can. Not a beer can. I hope you're just not like another victim lined up for this guy. Because, and then if we move into,
but who does he even fight after that?
No one.
Nobody. I don't give a fuck about the Ferguson fight anymore. That guy got smoked by Justin Gaethje, and it wasn't even close. You
No,
know,
it wasn't close.
I don't care about the.
I'm not even sure about the GSP fight because again,
I don't think GSP wants it.
no, I don't think he wants to come out of retirement, and nor should he, man. That guy's, if you ever want to look at the triumphant spirit of humanity, look at GSP versus Johnny Hendricks, because Johnny Hendricks was on all the steroids. You won't convince me of otherwise. And then we got to see that Canadian knight fight his little heart out against the man who was probably juiced to the gills and put up a hell of a fight. But I don't think that, one, I'm not sure that GSP can get down to welterweight anymore. I'm not believing it. I'm not buying
welterweight. Good luck. He still has another 15 to go past that.
No. They Khabib said he would fight him at welterweight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they would do it. But I don't think he can make it down there anymore. And then even then, I think I have Khabib beating GSP. I was on the fence about this because of the jab, but I just don't think the GSP has the steam to keep him off of him for 5 rounds. So
yeah, for fucking almost 30 minutes.
Now, what's intriguing is Michael Chandler. That's what's intriguing. No, not really, but we got to film the show. We got to film the show with something. Right?
Listen, Michael Chandler is going to will most likely be a champion in the UFC once Khabib has moved on.
Yeah, once Khabib has decided.
I think Dustin Poirier will be a champion in the UFC once Khabib has moved on.
Yeah,
right. I think you might be able to see Conor McGregor as a champion in the UFC once Khabib moves on.
Once he drops down to 45 again.
Never happen. It'll never happen.
You don't think you can make it?
I don't think he wants to. Right? Yeah. For him to fight at 70 and then cut down to 45 at some point, man, that's not healthy. Listen, I don't think he has what it takes anymore.
How much weight would you cut to avoid a fight with Khabib? I'd cut all the weight.
If I was Alexander Volkanovski, I'm fighting Davison Figueroa next. I'm fighting atom weight.
Listen to me, man. You know what we haven't heard anything from in a while is Max, man. I think Max might be
unofficially done.
Yeah, I think he might be good on it. And I don't blame him, man. I'm sorry, the history will remember that Volkanovski stole that one. Like,
see, you say that, and I don't think so, but that's fine.
Yeah, I know you don't think so, but you're wrong about this, buddy. But here's the thing: Volkanovski will get to do what every fighter in his situation has done, like John has done. He's got to fight the next fight. He's got to earn that respect back because it was still a great fight. It wasn't like he walked away with the fight, right? It wasn't like it was.
Sure. It was a good fight.
Yeah, it was an amazing fight, and it wasn't like he dialed it in. I just know that his next fight, and I know that as a man, and I'm sure you know this too, he's gonna come in there like a bat out of hell to try to erase that memory.
Or he comes in and executes his game plan exactly as he wants and wins the next fight, right? Like there's a level of respect I have for you if you do that too. I don't need you to be flashy as a champion, right? I need you to be dominant. Right, Khabib is very much a good example of that. Khabib is not a very flashy fighter. He's a grinder, right? He's gonna get you to the ground, grind you out, wear you out, and then beat you up, right? Volkanovski very much so could be that, but on the feet, right?
Here's where I think you're wrong. I mean, no, you're not wrong. But here's another look at it. Volkanovski wasn't that prior to Max. Max, he had to execute the perfect game plan.
Sure.
Before that, Volkanovski was like in some very beautiful brawls. But I agree that moving forward, yeah, you're a champion now. So now we got to rein it in a little bit, right?
Right. Same thing Tyron did.
We got branding to think about. I got some stuff working on over here.
Right. I'm from fucking.
Can't be coming in like a cokehead fighting the security guard anymore.
Right. Actually, the next person who's going to get that title shot at 45 is the winner of Ortega versus Korean Zombie.
No, that's going to be interesting because I have Volkanovski beating Korean Zombie easily. Not because Korean Zombie's skills lack, but Korean Zombie gives him exactly what he needs to win that fight. Yeah, he's going to come straight for it. Korean Zombie's marching for it. It'd be interesting to see him against Ortega. I'm still trying to remember a day before Ortega got viciously beat up by Max.
He knocked out. Who did he knock out with like a step back uppercut?
No, that was before. That was
before, right? That was before.
Yeah, but it was before Frankie Edgar.
There you go. He hasn't fought since.
Yeah, he hasn't fought anyone since Max Holloway. And God damn it, I can't believe that he's alive after that fight. Do you remember that ass whooping?
It was bad. It was was there 100 unanswered strikes?
Yeah, at one point, I literally thought that maybe the fight was fixed. I was like, no one takes this many hits unless they're getting paid by the mob. And they're like, we got your mom in the basement.
Dude. It was really bad. At one point, Max Holloway stops, grabs his hands, and puts them in front of his face and blocks and punches, and then hits him. You know? It was not good. That was not a good look for Brian Ortega. And then taking 2 years off after that, I think, is equally not as good of a look.
So, speaking about not good looks, we can get back to this right now, but I meant to hit you up when I saw this on Twitter. So you see your boy Triple C Cringe King. He posted some cryptic tweet about 2021 bending the knee or something like that, and it's got the Olympic emblem behind him. So I don't know if that means he's going to make an Olympic run or he's thinking about coming back. I have no idea what it means, but I would pay money to see that fight between him and Volkanovski. Take my money. I'd pay it.
Yeah,
so here's the thing.
I mean, I'm on board with that.
So for the uninitiated, we're talking about Henry Cejudo, someone who might actually go down in history as the greatest combat athlete ever. And
most decorated for sure.
He has the most decorated, 100%, because he has the credentials. But I wouldn't mind seeing. I'm not going to bet against him in any fight easily anymore, because it wasn't like he fought cans. Like, that was a good march.
He's making an Olympic run.
He's making an Olympic run?
Yeah, because the hashtag before that is 2 is better than 1, and he has 1 Olympic medal, right? There's a chance that he's going to wrestling and doing another Olympic run. Well, good for him if he could do that. That would be incredible, right? To be out of Olympic wrestling for so long and then fight and be a fighter and then go back to Olympic wrestling, that would be incredible.
Wait, but wasn't he complaining about weight cuts and stuff? What?
He didn't want to cut weight to be in the Olympics anymore. And I think he's too small to be at the higher weight, whatever the next kilogram up is. I think he's too small.
Picograms?
Kilograms.
Oh,
that's how they measure weight in everywhere else other than the UFC.
I don't speak un-American, but
the metric system is way better than the imperial system.
Here's what I'm saying, man, about your boy Volkanovski, right? So Ortega will wait. Let me get you on the record here. Who you got? Ortega versus Korean Zombie. We haven't talked about this.
I don't know. Probably Korean Zombie.
You think so?
I like Korean Zombie a lot. It might be slightly biased there. Fun to watch fight. Yeah, I think I have Korean Zombie on that one.
I think the jits of Ortega is as legit as it get. Huh? It's incredible. Yeah, as legit as it can get. But I'm gonna have to go Korean Zombie on this one too, man, because I'm not buying that Yair knockout. Right? He was on path to win that fight, and that was. He caught him coming
lucky.
in. So.
That was lucky as among lucky, right? Like Lucky got lucky to get that knockout.
Dude, that was a perfect roll.
Right.
I mean, he threw it for sure, but I was just like, we'll never see that.
No,
actually, that's up there for one of the greatest knockouts in UFC history.
Not.
It's got to be in the conversation.
Yeah, but like maybe top 10.
Yeah.
That fucking kick was incredible.
Yeah. Here's the thing: the guy that the kick was landed on came out so humbly. He was like, "Oh man, beautiful kick."
Yeah. What else? Could you say? He's like, "I watched the foot hit me. I licked it."
No, I think you go the Sugar Shane route. Like, in my mind, that kick never landed. I'm still undefeated. That's the route you go, man. What? You know what? Where is O'Malley? What's he doing with his life, man? Are we gonna?
O'Malley lost a lot of respect in my book after losing that fight and just saying that he didn't, and just saying that I didn't lose that fight.
I think his stock went down with a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't think he's even ranked anymore.
Wait, man. See, we did it again, man. We stopped talking about poor Michael Chandler. Look, let's.
Who cares?
I care. This is something that I've been waiting to see in the UFC for a minute. This guy, but I wonder if it's too late, right? If it's like because he walks into a murderer's row in his weight division. It's not like he just came in. Here's a tune-up fight. Like
no.
any
They're
fight.
Like, you're gonna be on call for the belt, and who do you have to fight? Potentially the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
Did you hear Khabib say he wants to come out here and beat Gaethje and prove that he's the pound for pound best?
Okay. See, this is where we need to get, not you, we need to get more specific by what they mean by pound for pound best. In my mind, I am still going by boxing rules to be considered a pound for pound great. And this
You have to
also
go up and down weight
this-
classes.
yeah, this also applies to John, and it's always been my biggest knock against him. You have to be willing to go up or down to fight the best in other divisions. So I think if Khabib beats Gaethje, he's the best 155er for sure.
Ever. Even right now as it stands, he's the best 155er to live.
Who can argue it? Name who
Name 37 people off the top of your head who could argue it.
I can't. And if I could name 37 people, I wouldn't talk to them anymore because obviously there are other stupid things they would say that would upset me. But he's not, Michael Chandler. Come on, man. Stop doing this to Michael. He deserves our attention for at least 30 seconds. Let's get him a match. You put him up against someone. Who are you going to get?
Oh, my God. At 55?
Give him Tony. That's the easiest way. Bring him in just the same way you did out.
Dan Hooker. Paul Felder, maybe.
Paul Felder's retired.
Oh, he's not.
He hasn't admitted it yet, but he's retired.
he's been on the commentary booth for what, 8 weeks in a row now or something. I don't mind. I actually like Paul Felder a lot. I don't like when it's Felder and Cruz, but I like Paul Felder for sure.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, Dominic.
Dominic Cruz has really lost it for me. I don't know. I'm not into it anymore. Ally, if Ally is available, you can give Michael Chandler Ally Quinta. That'd be not bad.
Ally's at 145. What are you trying to do, man?
No, he's not.
Yeah, Ally Quinta fights at 145.
He fights at 55. He fought fucking Khabib for the title at 55.
Oh, Ally Quinta. You say Ally Quinta, and I'm hearing Aljamain Sterling.
Aljamain Sterling doesn't fight at 45 either, does he?
He fights
at
35.
35.
Yeah. Poor guy.
Aljo's fighting for the title next for sure.
He's earned it, man. I can't think of a guy like it's pretty.
Hold on. No. Let's be fair. The one person who has been shunned for a title shot the most is Tony Ferguson.
Yes, but
he won for 10 years straight.
What does that mean in the world of Dana? All right,
Dana
doesn't have time to think about how long you've been winning fights. When you keep doing weird things like balancing yourself on medicine balls and hurting yourself, that's your fault, man.
Actually, that was the way he rehabbed his torn ACL, but I'm not going to get into that. That's something.
That's what I'm saying. But if you put Tony against Michael Chandler, then you get him right back in the conversation because right now, honestly, I'm gonna be real with you, man. I had Dustin winning that fight. And it's gonna be hard for you to convince me of otherwise because Gaethje proved something about Tony that I've known for a long time. He gets hit, he can continuously be hit, but the problem is guys gas themselves out trying to hurt him. Gaethje's like, hey, I'm gonna pull the brakes back on this a little bit, hit you at around 35%. Then I'm gonna keep torquing it up during the rounds until you start doing the chicken dance and pointing at phantoms in the octagon, which is exactly what Tony did. I don't care what he says about his body being diminished. He actually didn't say it. Dana said it, but that didn't have anything to do with the double weight cut. It had to do with someone that figured it out, man. They're like, I'm not doing this with you. But I think Michael Chandler could, that'd be fun.
Give him right? Kevin Lee. I don't know.
Who? Give me an old school gaming with a dad. Who is Kevin Lee? Is this a fighter in the UFC? Who's that guy? Not the guy that I put my hopes into, and you tricked me into thinking he was making a resurgence in his career. Basically argued me down, and I'm like, well, maybe you're right. You make some valid points. But then it turned out he was the exact same Kevin Lee he'd always been, dude.
They knocked your guy, your boy, the fuck out.
Don't invoke the great Gillespie's name.
Has Gregor Gillespie fought since then?
No.
He hasn't. It's been over a year.
He has not. He
He doesn't want any of that anymore. He got knocked the fuck out, man.
Is he on the schedule to fight?
No.
I haven't heard anything.
I don't think he is.
You know who I haven't heard from? Man, we're all over the place tonight, but I love it. You know who I haven't heard from, man? Where's your boy, the Gracie that fought Cub Swanson?
Oh my God. Kron?
Kron, he's gone. He's in the same place as Kevin Lee and friggin' Gillespie. Like they're all hanging out in the Black Nebula.
Oh
Where are these people?
I don't know. Where is Kron Gracie actually?
I think he might have stepped away from the UFC. God damn it. Michael Chandler deserves a fight with a top 3 guy, man.
Does he?
Yeah. I think so.
Then give him Tony.
Give him Tony, man. No, you know what? Let's get Pettis back down to 155. We'll give him Pettis.
I thought Pettis was fighting at 85 next.
that can you listen? If not, I'm gonna be serious. This is a guy that was supposed to be the next big thing. I do not understand. He is another guy like Tyron Woodley. I do not understand what happened there. There are conspiracy theorists who believe that both of them, that the lack of steroids has impacted their career. I don't see evidence of that, but
no, Tyron looks the same, right? Like you would on Tyron specifically, you would physically be able to see it. He looks the fucking same.
But then what's Pettis' excuse? What happened, man?
He's old, and the game advanced beyond him, right?
Caught up to him, man.
Caught up to him and fucking blew by him like he was standing still on the highway, man. That's what happened.
Standing next to him like, it hurts when this happens.
He's like, oh, we're here. Ben Rothwell's in the back. Well, boys, time to take some. Actually, when Ben Rothwell didn't look too bad in this fight.
No, he didn't look too bad. Look, he looks.
He's weird because he throws these weird sloppy combos, but they look like they fucking hurt.
Yeah. I don't want to get hit with anything that old man's bringing. Right, not one bit. This is a guy. He's another guy on the list of people who's knocked out Uberim.
Ben Rothwell.
Knocked him out cold, and then did a weird dance. I think that was when he went into infamy with the whole.
Yes, that's Ben Rothwell. Man, he's a character, huh?
He's a don't leave your wife alone with him character. Like you might eat the family.
I don't. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go that far, but definitely don't leave your dog with him.
Yeah, the dog is done for. The dog is definitely done for. Look, Mike Chandler, we tried, man. Your potential matchup is Tony Ferguson or friggin' Anthony Pettis,
or the winner of Khabib Poirier, or not Khabib Poirier, Conor Poirier.
Well, that's going to be an obvious fix. Cash doesn't like all the attitude Michael Chandler's throwing out there, and I would kind of. I think it's out of character. I think it's
he's doing his best in a new organization to get a fight when no one wants to fight him. Right? God. You have to do what you want. You have to do what you have to do to get a fight. Right? Let's be fair. Should he be ranked in the top 5? Absolutely. He's a champion in another organization. I agree.
Right.
But does anyone think anything of him?
No.
No one cares.
No one cares, man.
No one gives a shit about that guy.
Do you care about Corey Sandhagen?
Corey Sandhagen looked really good. He looks really good, but he's looked really good in his last few fights.
Wait, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't he the guy that Aljamain ran out and basically strangled in like the first 10 seconds of the fight? That was him, right? I think Al handed him his first
maybe. Corey Sandhagen.
Because if I'm remembering,
yeah, it is right. But he beat everyone on his way up, though. Got to Aljo. No one wants to fight Aljamain Sterling for some reason. That guy can't get a fight. There is one guy in the UFC though that legitimately cannot get a fight.
Who's that?
Ryan Hall.
Oh, the ankle pick guy?
Yeah.
In the leg lock guy? Yeah.
No one wants to fight. He's ranked like 13th. He's a ranked fighter. No one wants to fight him.
No. And they have good reason not to want to fight him.
He's legit.
Yeah, he's legit, and I'm sure that's not the only trick he has in his arsenal there too. Because if you look closely, when people try to defend it, he's ready to switch.
But doesn't he just fucking he like Imanari rolls into people and then just grabs their legs and just like done, just like
wouldn't you just like to field goal kick him when he did that? Is that legal?
No, you say that, but then I'm the bad guy for downed opponent knees. You make me feel like an idiot for saying that. And you want to kick this poor guy, man. And you want to kick this guy as he's rolling at you.
It would be amazing.
It's like when you're playing Beyblades with your friend, you get in there and punch the Beyblade. No, you let it happen.
Listen, man. Listen. No one wants to fight him for the same reason that they don't want to fight Aljamain Sterling. They don't want to lose that way. And I'm sure Corey Sandhagen didn't want to see, he didn't see himself getting choked out because there looks like there's some obvious holes in Hall's game. But what if you come in there and then it turns out it isn't just a roll? What if you come in there and you take him down, you realize he's got a great rubber guard, or he throws up a triangle?
I can imagine he does, right? That's the thing is I imagine he fucking does. I think the guy's pretty scary.
Actually, I think he's an interesting guy too. I like hearing his interviews. I like the fact that he's so mellow and he's just like, hey, I'm just here. I'll probably
he's
probably
like,
get a slushy after this.
I'm here to murder people and Well,
You see,
I saw cookie dough on the side. If you'd like to buy any,
I grind down their legs and I make necklaces with them.
he's like, and then I also donate the money that for selling the necklaces to the Girl Scouts.
Dude, speaking of grinding down legs, man, you don't watch your boy, your Prophet's show anymore, do you? Brandon Shaw? You're not into that guy anymore.
No,
Huh?
he said some crazy shit one time, and I was out. I had exiled myself.
I was watching him and I was listening to his assessment of John Jones's potential move up to heavyweight, and for the first time, I think I heard a level of maturity in Brendan's like voice. He was like, "Hey, man, if this goes down the way I think and a lot of analysts think, he's basically going to go up there, run the gambit, and then quit the sport." And
Yeah,
I'm like, all right, but Brendan Schaub said something once about Corey Sandhagen. I
he's a
100%
huge
agree.
Corey Sandhagen fan.
Yeah,
He
I think
is.
that, I think that Corey like I think he's going to go all the way, man. I think he could do it. I don't
think
know
he
if he
could too.
gets it. I've like I'm going to be honest with you, man.
He deserves the
I
next title shot right after Aljo.
I see greatness in that kid, man. And
Sure.
it's one of those things that like gives me pause and it's hard to quantify. But when I was watching the fight, I was like, okay, that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
like that was amazing, man.
Do you
And
give him so obviously Aljamain Sterling gets the next fight, right?
right?
Do you give Corey Sandhagen like a Cody Garbrandt or something in the middle?
Ooh.
And then it puts them both back into legitimacy, right?
Yeah, I would say so. If he wants that fight, I would definitely give it to him. I think that might be an easy out for him. I think he has more tools to work with, and it's going to be a clinic.
So I don't disagree, but they both need a fight, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it makes sense to do it.
Oh man, someone was talking about we're talking about 135 here, right? Someone was talking
Yeah.
about Killashaw's return and if he should get jumped right back in there and be able to get right
Yeah,
back.
I bet you Frankie Edgar maybe. I don't know. He fights someone in the top 5. I agree. We'll see
Yeah.
Dillashaw without steroids and see how great he is.
Yeah.
Because the assumption is that he used him throughout his entire career, I assume, right? And not just this one fight.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's that, man, but there's like, man, just think about TJ's footwork before he fought Dominic Cruz and decided to abandon that for some reason.
Here's
I
the
don't
thing,
know.
right? With him coming back, 35 is the most exciting division in the UFC at the moment.
It's right back up there because
It's deep, man. The top 10, you can make an argument for everyone in the top 10, minus Jose Aldo, for a title shot. You really can.
yeah. Listen, man, Aldo gave it a good effort against what's this guy's name? The current champion at 135.
Petr Yan.
Piotr Jan gave it a good outing. Man, Peter Yan's also a killer too. I think that Aljo is going to lose that fight. Unfortunately, I'm a big Aljo fan, man. I've been in there since day one, but I don't think he has a tool set to beat him. I think that Corey Sandhagen does, though. I think he has the unquantifiable tactical skills to beat him. And if I was Peter Yan, I would be watching all the film I could on Corey Sandhagen today.
I'd be watching a lot. Yeah, he has a fight ahead of him, though, for sure. The Aljamain Sterling fight is pretty much confirmed from Dana. Jan versus Sterling is next. But right after that fight, man, you fucking start your camp as soon as you can. Right? Don't even wait for the fight to be signed. You start that fucking camp because that's what's happening next.
Now, if he gets through Aljo, I'm not disparaging Aljo because I think, this is a direct student of Matt Serra. So we're talking about Matt Serra, and he's one of the baddest men to ever do it in regards to jiu-jitsu. And also he's working with Ray Longo, who is a technical genius when it comes to striking, man. Aljo can win the fight. I'm just worried that Aljo's going to show up and then it's just not all going to click together, right? He's not going to be able to make that seamless transition from grappler to striker. And then if he gets caught in those striking exchanges, technically Peter Yan is way better at it than him. So he's got to fight a flawless fight, and he's got to get in there and do something that, a lot of people have had a hard time with Peter Yan, which is they assume since he's a striker, they're going to be able to control him on the ground, but you got to get him to the ground first, right? Yeah. And then you got to hold him down and be able to do that.
Yeah. Dude, that division right now is incredible, right?
It is.
We had a discussion recently that actually a lot of the divisions in the UFC right now aren't very deep outside of the top 5. right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the exceptions. The top 10 in that division is very, very deep. You know,
I think welterweight's popping off too right now, man. There's a lot of stuff about to crack off at welterweight.
there's a lot of exciting fights at welterweight, right? There's a lot of very, very exciting fights at welterweight, but I don't know how great. You know, you got to compare everyone to Usman there, right? And Usman, I think, is going to be one of the best welterweight champions of all time, right? I feel like he's going to defend the title quite a bit, and he hasn't shown me anything so
to
far
believe
otherwise. Gilbert Burns is going to offer some issues for him. Leon Edwards are going to offer some issues for him. But Leon Edwards can't get a fight. Leon Edwards is dodging every fight thrown at him at the moment. He's running away from Wonderboy Thompson, which, frankly, most people should.
Yeah, but see, and here's the crazy thing. Here's the crazy thing. You look at Steve Wonderboy Thompson. You see the meme of him and Chris Weidman hold each other. He's a very nice guy. Nicest guy.
The nicest
guy to walk in this organization. That man is a killer.
He's a
killer. He's deadly. And let's not forget, he holds a knockout over Robert Whittaker. I mean, you thought the knockout that Adesanya gave him was bad? Whittaker, I mean, Wonderboy starched him.
Do you think if Wonderboy moves up, do you think that's a hard fight for Izzy?
Yes.
Because he's long, right? Because he's long and he can match that range.
He's long, he can match that range, and also Wonderboy is so it's going to be a back and forth, right? You might as well make that a 10-round fight.
Yes, I agree.
Because it's gonna, we're gonna watch a lot of tension in that. I think it's gonna be hard for Israel to pull him into any traps the way he would do it against a brawler. Because we're talking about another guy who's
just as tactical. Just as tactical
and just as cerebral. And actually, I still have Izzy winning the fight or by points in a decision, but I think it'd be a great fight to watch if you like those type of high tension. What's gonna happen? Fights.
And Wonderboy's not afraid to throw, right? Wonderboy will fight, so that's what makes it exciting too.
100% Pettis got lucky with that Superman punch. I'm gonna start you did not really mean to do that vlog on this show, right? Because whenever I hear Pettis say like, yeah, we've been drilling that all year, I just look at my wife and I'm like, that is bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. You pulled that Superman punch out of desperation in a fight you were losing
badly
getting handled, dude. But anyway, Corey Sandhagen freaking Corey Sandhagen versus
his legitness, absolutely.
Now, what do we do with poor Marlon Moraes, man? Like this guy came over from World Series of Fighting, and remember he's got knockouts over friggin'
everybody,
Aljo.
Right?
Yeah, he's got knockouts over Aljo.
He killed Aljo with that knee, right? Is that the knee knockout where he was throwing a
kick?
He hit him with a knee. If you look at that, really? he was throwing a body kick and transitioned that kick into a knee when Aljo ducked.
Oh,
that was a standing knee. Man.
It's 2 in a row for him, by the way.
I don't know. I don't know who you give Marlon Moraes. He's, him and, maybe give him Cody Garbrandt. I feel like Cody has to fight, right? I feel like Cody has to fight because I like watching Cody Garbrandt fight as crazy as it is usually.
Yeah. And it shouldn't be that crazy because he's a lot better at it than he actually lets himself be. He is a great striker when he wants to be, but sometimes, he's just like, F it. I know we drilled these things for 6 weeks. I've paid you guys thousands of dollars to make sure I break my bad habits, but here we go.
And he's down again.
Yeah. Oh, give him Dominic Cruz.
Okay, you can't be listen, I look at the rankings and I take them very seriously. You can't be the number one contender and fight fucking Dominic Cruz. I don't care where Dominic Cruz is. And my apologies, Dominic Cruz, but I'm pretty positive I could throw you pretty far. So I'm not worried about you. Yeah, I don't know who. Jimmy Rivera, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, Jimmy Rivera won his last fight, right?
I think so. I mean, I assume so if I said it out loud.
If I said it, then it was based on some fact, and I'm right. You won't prove me otherwise. Jimmy Rivera is a guy that's very interesting to me in MMA because when I look at him, right, it kind of looks like Chad Mendez, so I always mistake one for the other, and I assume that he's going to have that same ferocity.
He beat Cody Stamen. Man, he's actually he lost to Marlon in 2018.
He also got kicked.
Run it back.
Run it back. Well, how did that? Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Where's he ranked right now? Jimmy Rivera.
He's ranked 8.
Right? Okay. It was Dominic Cruz. He's like 4.
10.
Dom is 10?
Who the fuck has Dom fought in the last 9 years?
Dude, he just lost. Triple C.
Yeah, you don't get to fight after that. Marlon Moraes is probably going to get moved down to 4 because Corey Sandhagen was 4. And I say Aljo gets bumped up to 1, Sandhagen 2, and then Moraes gets bumped to 4 under Cody Garbrandt and fights Rivera. I don't know.
Actually, here's a good thing, man. I'm kind of glad that we didn't see Marlon win the fight. And I actually like Marlon. But I'm matching people up with the styles that I think have the best chance against the current champion. And I just don't think Marlon Moraes has the cardio for it. And I don't think he's going to be able to take multiple body shots with lacking cardio. Because Peter Yan's a very smart dude. And he's going to attack him to the body the entire fight. And then once the body presents the head, he's going to knock him out. That is a bottom line, man. So now wait, I forgot. We have Frankie in the mix in this division as well.
Marlon can fight Frankie, I guess, right?
Yeah. Oh no, would they fight each other though? They actually trained in the same camp for a long time.
Oh, did they? No,
yeah.
I wouldn't have known that.
Marlon moved down to American Top Team.
Did he?
Yeah, so did Edson Barboza. They all fought in the same camp for a long time. Him, Frankie, Edson, they were all working with in the same one. So I guess now it doesn't matter. We're not teammates anymore. Right? What are you gonna do? You're not gonna take the fight because you have some familiarity with these people?
Yeah, I think that makes it a more fun fight, honestly. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you give Frankie a chance at 135?
To run for the belt? No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. He's ranked 5. You know, the guys ahead of him are killers, man. The guys ahead of him are killers at that division. Right? Yeah. Marlon, Aljo, Cody Garbrandt, Corey Sandhagen, and Peter Yan. Does Frankie have anything for those guys? Does Frankie have anything left for those guys? Let's be fair.
I think so. I think he's got just enough left in the gas tank to make the run. I think the wall comes against a guy like Sandhagen, then reality steps in because Sandhagen.
That's who he would fight next, technically. Yeah. It's like, wow, man, he really makes the run. One fight and he lost. Wow, you didn't really give him much. You give him less credit than I did, honestly. I always gave him enough credit to fucking know that he shouldn't be up there.
I do. I love Frankie.
Maybe Frankie fights Pedro Munoz.
Maybe Frankie fights Cody.
That's a good fight. I'm giving everyone Cody Edgar right now. Or
Cody, or Killishaw. Give him Killishaw when he comes back, man.
Shit, that's a good fight. I think Dillashaw starts. They fucking him. He just fought Pedro Munoz. My bad. Frankie just beat Pedro Munoz.
When is TJ Dillashaw supposed to come back?
He's eligible in February, I think.
Oh, so that's right around the corner.
4 months.
It's a great time for him to come back. Black History Month just ruined it with a horrible loss. I just ruined the whole month for all of us.
I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to know what it means.
Yeah, if you're still here after all this inside talk, you are truly, truly one of the greatest fans to ever support this channel. But we know that you're still here. Darren Till, a guy you love talking about, a guy who.
Do I? How many? I've only said about 5 words about Darren Till ever. And it's like,
Exactly. You refer to Darren. You speak about him the same way people speak about the free coleslaw at the diner when they offer to you. You're like, oh, yeah, maybe.
I'm the coleslaw guy. I like coleslaw a lot.
Oh, then you hate Darren Till, and now it's even more.
Oh my god.
I think Darren Till taking. How do you pronounce this guy's name, Zach?
Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah, I think this would be the worst career decision on his part.
So he already has a fight booked. Let's be fair. He's already fighting Hermanson or Cannonier. I don't remember which one.
Right.
He has to win that fight. Right? He wins that fight. He'll fight. He said he'll fight Chimaev, which gives Chimaev a top 5 fight at that point. Sure. I still think Chimaev needs to fight. First of all, he needs to pick a weight class. Right? 70 or 85. Let's focus on one first, bud. Okay? Let's figure it the fuck out. If you're going to fight at 70, fight Neil Magny. We've already agreed on this.
Got locked in.
And Neil said he would fight him, I believe.
Yes.
If you fight at 85, you might fight Chris Weidman. And I think Chris Weidman said he would fight him.
I think Chris Weidman would fight him.
I think Chris Weidman would retire after.
Yeah, I think that is a bad fight for Chris Weidman. It's a horrible fight.
You get him against the vet. You get him against the guy who knows how to win as many ways as anyone else, right? Yeah, right. You get him against a guy who has a different skill set than anyone he's fought so far in the UFC. It's either that or you give him like Edmund Shabazian and really ruin that kid.
That kid is not ready for the smoke that he's going to bring him.
Right,
man.
but he's ranked 11 right now.
How is that possible? This is the same guy.
There's no one else there. Who's going to be ranked better than him? Brad Tavares?
Dude, there's Brad Tavares, poor guy.
This is 10 through 15, right? Uriah Hall at 85. Uriah Hall, Edmund Shabazian, Brad Tavares, Omari Akhmadov, Marvin Vittori, and Ian Heinisch.
All great fighters. All great fighters. All household names. Who doesn't know? What was the last guy's name?
Ian Heinisch.
Ian Heinisch.
Exactly. I agree. But you either give him one of those guys, or you give him like a Derek Brunson. Kelvin Gastelum might be a really, really good fight for him.
Now that would be a real test. That would be an amazing
That
fight.
would be a fucking test. Because if he beats Gastelum, you slingshot him straight to a title.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And especially if he beats him in convincing fashion. If he goes out there and beats Gastelum second round and puts him away, then you're like, okay, wow, okay, Izzy couldn't do this. Right? How many people could do this against Kelvin Gastelum? And this guy comes and walks through the gatekeeper of 85, right? Of the top 10 or top 5 in 85.
Yeah.
Who else is going to give him? Yoel. I don't think Yoel's a good fight for him, but I don't know. I don't know if Yoel's a good fight for anybody.
Yoel's a dangerous fight for anyone at any point in their career because you don't know which Yoel is going to show up, and that sounds so cliche to say that. It's not like
there's three or four different versions of Yoel that can show up. Now there is a rumor that I have heard that Yoel is moving up to 205.
That is 100% a horrible move for him. Oh, wait, no, you know what? No, 205 is completely open.
Hold on.
Open.
Do not fight Blachowicz, though.
No, he's not ready for a Blachowicz fight. And
Give him Anthony Smith.
Who? Yoel?
Yoel.
Yeah, that's a great fight. That is 100% a great fight. They would have met in middleweight at some point. Like 100%.
Yeah.
Now, Kawasaki, the thing you do with this kid, right?
Hold on a second. So I can't let you do that because that's the most racist thing you've essentially ever said in my presence. You can't like at least not pronounce this guy's name at least somewhat correct and then throw it off some other direction. No, that is 100%.
No, 100%. Kawasaki is not racist. Now, it would have been racist if I used the actual racial misnomer about his.
No, but what you're doing is you're not even giving his name a fair shot. You're making a joke out of it. That is not okay. I won't let you do that.
No, so here's the thing, right? When someone takes the high moral ground on something, I usually can respect that depending on the source of it, right? Now, you, my friend, and Zach, I got a lot of love for you, right? You are what I would regard a hypocrite in this sense because there is very little that is sacred to you, and the things that come out of your mouth cannot be repeated, even on the show.
This is false. You're painting a false narrative about some of the things that I have said.
You know what, Zach? I will allow you to try to make me look crazy, but no one's buying it right now. Right? No one's buying it. No, but let's talk serious about this guy's career, right? Because you could put him in a dangerous spot, right? So you're right. He should pick a weight. He should pick a weight class.
He has to pick one, 70 or 85. Yeah, he picks it. That's fine.
Right. But here's the thing, right? So here's why I'm making the case for 170. I think there's a better clear path for him to victory. So let's say you do wind up giving him someone like Kelvin Gastelum at 180. You have to remember who you're pitting him up against. Now, Kelvin Gastelum's last performance against Darren Till and otherwise was not great, but he's not going to want to lose to this guy. And I think that Kelvin Gastelum shows up and he shows him a different look with the boxing and the wrestling and does enough to stop him in his tracks, right? Or let's say he does win that fight against Kelvin Gastelum, but it's an all-out war. Now you've put unnecessary miles on this fighter, and you can potentially take him out for the rest of the year. Keep him at 170, give him Neil Magny. Let's start that fight off. Let's see where Neil's finally going with it. And then Just let him work his way up the rankings, but don't rush him into the top 5 filled with murderers. And here's the problem, bro. I don't have him beating Izzy.
I don't
and you know
either. I don't either by any stretch of the imagination.
Mike, I don't
have him beating Usman either, to be fair. Actually, I think Usman's a worse fight for him.
I think Usman is the worst fight for him, man. Because
so then you want him in a division that is the single worst fight at the top of it for him.
Well,
but
yeah, because
it'll be 3 years before he gets there, but
no, let's be even more fair. If it's going at this rapid rate, I guarantee he gets a title shot within a year and a half. If that.
Okay. That's fair.
Like,
Izzy did. Izzy had a title shot within 18 months of being in the UFC. He fought 6 times or so, though.
Yeah, but especially with the round robin they have going on right now due to COVID, there's a better chance of you getting into a title shot.
Yeah.
I'm just worried about the size. But you know what? What am I talking about? The size isn't a factor. This isn't the 185 division of Rashad Evans and Anthony Smith anymore. When you got 205ers coming down to 185 to fight,
would be interesting. Would be interesting. Dom Reyes drops to 85. Dom Reyes fought at 85, didn't he?
No, he beat up a poor Chris Weidman again. 180 from 185 to 205.
Dom Reyes drops to 85, and he has a good run at the title.
Do you think he can make that weight?
I don't know if he could, but I'm saying if he did.
Yeah.
I do forget that is fucking 20 pounds in between 85 and 205, which is there needs to be another division in there somewhere, I think.
No, yeah, no, 100%.
Give me a 95. That'd be an interesting division. Yoel Romero's the champion at 95.
Yes, he's 100% the champion. Here's the crazy thing, man.
He's lost 5 of his last 7. I don't know how I could say anything about Yoel Romero right now.
But just think about who he's lost to, right?
I know the case. I know, but you still can't say he's lost 5 of 7 and fought for 4 titles. You can't give Yoel any more.
You can. All you have to do is push yourself just a little bit.
Oh, you're right. He should fight Jan at 205. I agree. Give him another title shot.
Yeah,
and then he should go fight Stipe.
Jan, Blachowicz' career, man, that's amazing, dude. I won't let anyone take anything away.
He seems like such a nice guy too.
No, he is a nice guy. But just think about it. He is proof that you can fight your way back into winning. I mean, that we've seen it before. Look at Anthony Smith. Who's another great guy that made a comeback? Robbie Lawler, right? No one ever thought Robbie Lawler would be champion in the UFC, and he was defended. But maybe you give this kid give him a Condit next. Give him Condit next, man. You give him someone that people can really sink their teeth into. And it's a great fight to promote. It gives Condit to come back and give him a chance to prove that he can really hang with people nowadays.
He wants to fight someone ranked. Yeah. I think that's the issue, right? Because I think the UFC wants him to fight someone ranked.
Now that's the real issue.
The UFC is not very good at building star power. So they're awful at it. This guy should have 6 fights before he fights someone ranked. Even if he smokes all 6 of them, that's even better. It's a better look. Give him Carlos Condit, whatever, right? Don't give him someone in the top 10.
Well, here's the thing, man. I agree with that statement you just made, but also they just don't have enough bodies, right? They don't have enough bodies to do it the way
they called me to fight at 85 last week.
Oh yeah, how'd that call go?
I told him I'd have to drop 80 pounds, and they said, "Well, good fucking luck."
You were like, "Steve's a racist. He'll fight."
I don't know why that means anything.
No,
he'll fight Colby Covington.
I would never fight Colby Covington. I mean, I'd fight him if you were like, "Are you gonna back me up?" Like, if you jump in the octagon.
Are we gonna get a third person?
Like, we bring in Cash. You're like,
yeah, there we go. Bring in Cash, and I feel confident. All 3 of us.
I will say one thing about Consummate. So let's just go back. I want to rewind because I think that people are not giving him his due credit in this regard, and I don't want to fall into that train, man. That last knockout was very impressive.
Oh,
I don't think it was a lucky punch.
No, it looked clean.
I think it was set up. I think a part of me wants to protect him, and I'm wrong for saying this, man. I want to protect him in the sense that I want to be able to enjoy him a little bit more as a fan. And I think I've seen too many up and comers that had that star power or had that potential get thrown into the. I think that, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It kind of happened to Brandon Schaub. It happened to.
They threw him to the wolves, right?
They threw him to the wolves, man, and he had a long, promising career.
He lost his debut.
I know, man, but here's the thing, right?
Against Roy Nelson, though. To be fair.
Yeah, but Roy Nelson is a legit. This is where I get so crazy about the Ultimate Fighter, and I had to stop watching the show. This kid was playing football prior to this. Roy Nelson has been doing some form of martial arts,
and he had fought in the UFC prior. It's the same thing with Joe Lozon, right? Joe Lozon had fought in the UFC before he was in Tough. So
did he ever fight
he beat Jens Pulver before he went in the Tough.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's just like you put these people in these dangerous fights, and it shortens up their lifespan. I'm not a fan of it, man. I'm not a fan of sending out young green fighters, no matter how impressive they look.
Yeah,
that's a lie.
You're right.
Man.
No, you're right. I agree. And the UFC is really bad at doing that. The UFC just throws them to whoever.
Look at Darren Till, man.
Darren Till did not deserve a title shot 3 fights into his UFC career.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous, and against Tyron Woodley, it was a bad matchup for him.
And we're not talking about old man Tyron Woodley. We're talking about killer Tyron. Like, did you see the look on his face when they did the stare down? I was like, oh, he's gonna try to go in there and take this kid's head off,
and he almost did. He hit him so hard his hair stood up, which I had never seen before. Steve was losing it. But there's a picture of Tyron and Darren Till's hair is just standing straight up.
You know what? Every time when you just said that right now, I heard Darren Till's accent. He's like, I'm gonna knock him out. And I'm just like, that's not what happened at all. Dude.
No, it's not, dude. And Darren Till went a little crazy after that, but I think he seemed to reel it back in. But Mike Perry wants to go up and fight him.
Man, He's gonna pay Mike Perry $10,000 to be in his corner. Did you hear about this madness?
And did you see that he said Perry had accepted it at one point, and then Darren Till was like, "All right, boys, what round do I throw the towel in? Do I just do it right away?" And then Perry went off.
Yeah, I can tell you, man, Mike Perry is on a short list of people I would not want to have a verbal altercation.
I wouldn't want to be in the same room as that guy, to be fair. I like watching Mike Perry fight, man. I really do. I don't want that guy even in my town.
Why?
He just seems like he'd cause a ruckus everywhere he went.
And you're like, Mike Perry's over at the local McDonald's again. He's in the play ball ring attacking children. Said they were eyeballing him while he was eating his ice cream.
He's pegging them with the balls.
Yeah, actually, it's funny, man. Is he's got a big heart, Mike Perry, right?
He seems like a nice guy. I make that joke. He seems like a nice enough guy.
He's not a nice guy. He's a guy looking for love, though, for sure.
Wherever it may be, including in high schools. Have you not heard about that?
What?
Apparently his last girlfriend was like 15 or some shit.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
You know what? You just proved me right now, by the way, Zach.
What?
I literally said the things that come out of your mouth.
It's true. It's true. I'm reciting a fact. What do you mean?
Yeah, no, you're reciting a fact. But you know what you did right there.
What?
Folks, it's right here on the record. This is what he does to me 24 hours a day when we talk. That was a very dark joke. And you make him,
it was a very light joke. It was a very light joke. I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. You know what? This is exactly why I'm joining the Republican ticket. Speaking of which, we were talking about the social justice issue in regards to the other sports. And actually, I'm going to say something that might surprise you, right? I don't have an issue with people doing social protests and all that type of stuff. I think it's your American right. I think as long as you're not slowing down the flow of the game by taking a knee on the field,
football couldn't get any slower.
Yeah,
it literally couldn't. It literally could not get any slower.
I think the way that the UFC has handled the social climate right now has been masterful. So Dana didn't put a restraint on any fighters. He's like, you can say and do whatever you want in your post-fight, your pre-fight. I don't give a shit as long as you show up for a fight. You want to speak up for your cause as long as it doesn't go into the bounds of racism, or because there is a reverse racism that sometimes people can get away with, but they've handled it well, like all the way down to the George Floyd, the death of George Floyd.
Yeah.
Dana did not hesitate to do the blackout and the moment of silence. No one batted an eye. Like, and I was looking for it. Like, I went to like the local place, you know,
Him and Trump are friends. Yeah. What do you mean? He spoke at the RNC twice now.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It's almost like it just bounces. And I'm glad to see the UFC in this place now. I actually think that Scott Coker can get Bellator to a similar place, but they're in a place where people recognize the package. They're like, this is a business, and it is a business that brings us a lot of joy. It is a sport that is now, in my opinion, fully validated, fully matured, and I think it's only up from here. I do agree with you in the sense that they have to be careful with the ESPN deal. There are some things that I'm hearing in the rumor mill about the treatment of the UFC and with ESPN, and that's to be expected.
Yeah, but that's ESPN, right? That's not on the that's not on the UFC side. That's ESPN just being a fairly shitty company to be associated with, from what I've heard.
Yeah, and they've notoriously been very biased in their coverage of the UFC.
Yep.
One of the some partner in their properties. But I just thought that was really cool, man. And I was thinking about that today as I surveyed this past 6 months and everything that's gone wrong in this world. I think that I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Dana has handled it well. The fighters have been able to express themselves. So you can
ways, right? Both ways.
Both ways. Yeah. Like, I think, and see, this is a mature show, so we're about to step into a mature subject matter. If you're not willing to hear what Colby has to say, you can hit the mute button, right? But he has just as much right to say.
Every right to say whatever he wants, and I would 100% agree.
Yeah, and I think they've handled it well, man. I got to be honest with you. There are some times where I'm amazed that the UFC is still here. They've had every opportunity to screw this thing up. It's like, I've been watching for a long time now. There have been some times like with the Fox Sports 1 deal, like I remember it was like doom and gloom. People were like, this is going to ruin it. It's going to water down the sport. It's going to become commercialized.
Right. It's the same thing that happened to skateboarding, right? Where it's like, if you bring too many things in, the people thought this with the X Games of skateboarding, because they're too commercialized, too mainstream. It's going to ruin it. And it just made it bigger.
Yeah. And you give athletes a chance, something they've deserved. You know who this really benefits though, bro? Wrestler, collegiate and high school level. I was talking to a mom at the school, and her son had just finished his 4th year of wrestling, right? And they're trying to figure out what college is going to look like. And I just had to tell her, because I could see the worry in her eyes. She was like, a lot of wear and tear on his body. I was like, hey, but you know what? Your son right now has a path that a lot of wrestlers prior did not have. Like, there's an actual career path for him. Like, there's gonna be a different level. I really do think that they're gonna, if they haven't already, look at Uriah Faber. There are scouts going to wrestling, and it's not just the Olympics, and then maybe I can get into a program, and then maybe I can do workshops. Like, if you choose to.
It's not. Wrestling's big right now. Wrestling itself is getting bigger, and that's very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Did I get too sentimental there? I was about to tear up a little bit.
I don't even know I don't know what sentiment is, but
this is only audio, right? So no one can see me crying. You're not recording this episode, are you?
No. Only audio. You can do whatever you want.
What else you got on your radar, man? What do you got?
I actually don't really have too much, honestly.
Yeah.
I want to see there's a few people I want to see what their next move is, right?
Right.
I want to see what Stipe's next move is. Everyone knows I'm a big Stipe fan.
Greatest
I'm curious in what fight Blachowicz is going to have next, but that's 4 or 5 months down the road. This fight just happened, right? Man, I want to see where featherweight goes. I want to see what Volkanovski does next, right? Whether he's going to wait for Ortega versus Korean Zombie, or they're going to give him, I don't fucking know who else they would give him at this point. I want to see what Calvin Kattar's next fight is, because that really throws a wrench in that division, in the top 5. I think he might. Zabit is ranked number 3. I don't think Zabit's even in the top 10 in my opinion. So I don't know what the rankings are there. Yeah, there's fun fights coming up. There's fun fights coming up. I'm very excited for the Khabib Gaethje fight. Very excited.
Let me ask you a question, man. We didn't talk about men's 125, and we definitely didn't touch on any women's MMA. And that's not because we're sexist, and it's not because we hate men that weigh 125 pounds.
No, 125 fucking sucks. Let's be fair. Women's right now, none of the champions are fighting. right? None of the champions are fighting, and that's where the fights are fun. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of fun fights not at championship level in women's fight, but Amanda Nunes is the most dominant women's champion that may ever exist, right? And that's fun to watch. Weili Zhang, it looks incredible, is going to fight Rose at some point in 2021, I assume, right? Valentina Shevchenko, I don't know who they're going to sacrifice to this fucking woman. But again, you know, the divisions that are the least interesting to me are the ones that have the champion that is pretty much to say the same issue that 25 had for the longest time when DJ was the champion, right? It's like, oh, okay, DJ's fighting. It's not like, oh man, is this challenger going to beat the champion, right? Because it's like that's a legitimate question when we talk about Gaethje versus Khabib. Is does Gaethje win? Can Gaethje win? How does Gaethje win? What will Gaethje do after he wins? Right? That's the thought process. Not with Amanda Nunes or Weili Zhang or Valentina Shevchenko. I don't have that question. I don't see anyone even up and coming right now in the women's division other than Rose versus Weili, and that's a fantastic fight in and of itself.
It's going to be an amazing fight.
There is no real question in those divisions right now.
No, because the logjam at 145 and 135 for women is the brick wall, which is Amanda Nunes. Her next fight is scheduled for 145, but she's
against who? Oh, Megan Anderson.
Yeah, and
poor Megan Anderson.
and here's the thing: she's beaten the number 1 and number 2, and both those divisions. So Holly and friggin' Jermaine Durandamy would technically be number 1 and number 2 in 145 and 135. And she's beaten them both. And she beat Holly badly, right? It was a pretty dangerous head kick.
Yeah.
I think Holly's next path, man, she can't make it. She can't make the weight, right? She goes down to 125, fights Shevchenko. That would be the only thing I would pay for.
First of all, I wouldn't want to fight Shevchenko if I'm Holly Holm. Not in the fucking slightest.
They fought before. I didn't realize that the fight was closer than I thought it was. For some reason, I just had Shevchenko washing out Holly, but I forgot Holly actually knocked her down. It was actually fairly competitive. I remember it so differently. Like I just remember Shevchenko basically flipping into the octagon and just beating Holly Holmes for 5 rounds straight. But it was a much closer fight. But that wasn't this Shevchenko, not the world beater that we're seeing now. And who knows if there's you can't. What are you gonna do? You're gonna run it back with her and Amanda Nunes for a third time?
No,
at 135.
I don't fucking care. There's no one I want to watch fight Amanda Nunes right now. Who is she fighting? Is she fighting Megan Anderson? Okay, cool. That's a fun fight, I guess. If Megan Anderson could use, she has to be 5 inches taller than Amanda Nunes, right?
Yeah, she's gonna get taken down. That is the fight.
No, 100. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you. If she can use her length, if she can use her magical toe to the eye kick, there's a chance. But other than that, Nunes is gonna walk her down, take her down, and smother her. Is how I have that going.
Oh, keep an eye on Tatiana Suarez. I forget
she making another run at it.
She's undefeated, and she's been equated to the female Khabib. She lost. No, she won her. She won her last fight against Amanda Nunes, is actually her wife, but it was a very closely contested fight. But I think that she's going to make a real run at it. It's going to be interesting to see her push for that belt because she is. Have you her wrestling?
Yeah, I have seen her fight. I know I have. It's been a long time, right?
Yeah, it's been a very long time. I don't know what the heck's going on there.
June of 2019.
Stipe versus Francis is very intriguing to me. The second fight, man, because technically, Stipe on paper and realistically in real life is going to beat Francis everywhere
the same way he did last time,
unless Francis does something.
And let's be fair, Stipe seems to be better in rematches.
Yeah. Look,
ask poor DC.
You're not going to get an argument out of me. I know you're used to defending Stipe. You're ready to go to war. The way you looked into that camera, you're like, say something bad about him right now.
Who fights him though? Who fights Stipe next? It's Francis, right?
Yeah.
Really, what needs to happen in that division, in my opinion, Stipe needs to retire, and then that division's fun again.
I don't know, man. There's so many unathletic heavyweights coming up, dude. I was watching.
But hold on, the top 5 are very good. Francis, Curtis Blades, Rosenstreich, who is an incredible striker,
Yeah.
Derek Lewis, and Overeem. That's your top
Okay.
5. Then you got Alexander Volkov outside of it. You got JDS outside of it. You got Walt Harris outside of it.
Yeah. But
You have Cyril Gain outside of it, who might be the best striker in heavyweight at the moment.
Francis has beaten Curtis Blades twice. So
Yeah,
he's not
but those
getting
weren't
that
fights. Derek Lewis and Curtis Blades wasn't a fight.
fight.
Listen, I know
Wait.
Francis destroys most of these guys.
Yeah, the
If not all of
unfortunate part is Curtis Blades should technically have beaten Francis, right?
Twice!
He's got the
He has the tools, and he loses. How? You can wrestle, Curtis. You're very good at it.
I just, it's the Rumble factor, man. Like only
shit.
DC.
We have Rumble coming back too, don't we?
Yeah, that's the rumor, man. And if he steps back in there, it's probably going to be now. I would think it would definitely be at light heavyweight. I was thinking it was going to be a heavyweight before, but now it's wide open for him because the fact of the matter is, like, and I think John comes back down to light heavyweight for that fight. Like that, apparently that's the one that got away, and that's the fight he wants. Feels like it'd be really good for his legacy. At this point, I'm not sure if it is a smart fight to take. But
Go
what's
up,
swing out?
fight Overeem and get a title shot. John.
No, I
He
think
he fights the winner of Stipe versus Francis.
actually here. I'm going to say something unpopular. I think Overeem beats John.
Apparently he pieced him up in training, right?
Yeah.
He hurt him in training, from what I've heard, right?
Injured him. It was like a torn ligament or something like that. But if you're to believe every gym rumor that makes its way around the world, it's amazing how these things make it from gym to gym, right? And it's like the telephone game. But
Yeah.
apparently, like, he put a hurting on John. And
I don't know if Overeem beats him. Let's be fair. What Overeem showing up that day?
yeah, but here's the funny thing. Apparently, Rashad Evans used to beat John in the gym, and we see how that turned out. Like, apparently, what happens in the gym isn't what's going to happen in real life.
That's fair.
But Stipe's done after this. And here's why. I'm going to make my case, and we can end on this if you want. Here's why he doesn't need to be done, but he doesn't have anything to prove in my mind. He crawled up in a division where he got no press. I've said this before. He didn't get the support or the promotion he deserved, right?
Sure.
Did it anyway.
He's one of the most easily marketable guys in the UFC too.
And marketed to a very key demographic, blue collar workers, guys, and actually real fans of MMA.
First responders. Exactly. Does that, sits out, loses the fight to JDS, comes back, wins the belt, starches JDS, loses it to DC. Wait, I'm sorry, starches Ubereem, right? Loses the Daniel, sits out for a while, comes back. I think he won the fight handily, even though the old chopsticks in the eye. They did that to each other. Fair game, but he won that fight convincingly. He beat him twice in a row, by the way.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to remember that he beat DC twice.
Oh, that's
in a
right.
row.
Knocked him out. I always forget that fight.
I always forget the second fight, which was better perform. No, 3 was very good too. 3 was he won 3. I think 4 rounds to 1, arguably. But no, you have to remember that he lost to DC. DC fought Derek Lewis, and then fought Stipe.
Wait, there was someone else in there, wasn't there? Before after Derek Lewis with Stipe?
I don't.
No, I'm thinking about when he beat poor Anderson Silva. Okay, wait, light heavyweight. No, you're right. I'm just saying that Stipe at this point, if he beats Francis, not only would he have beaten the most intimidating man in the division and the most accomplished guy in the division, right? Taking the fight with John, I think would be
silly.
Not silly. It would be a cherry on top of an accomplished career, but someone's got to be willing to tell you, like, hey, maybe not. But if he beats John too, then he's right in there for greatest mixed martial artist to ever live. He's in that conversation easily.
Yeah. I give you that. Stipe, yeah, I could see that for sure.
Hey, you know what we did tonight? We made it a whole episode without talking about food.
Did we?
Yeah.
That's sad.
Zach, who's doing it tonight? You have some more stuff.
You take
no,
it.
No,
away.
you got the thing. All right. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. You know where to find us on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Reddit, and Pinterest. All Talking with a Dad. In some instances, one word. In some instances, one word. Go to the website, for God's sake. There's content which you can find on YouTube, but it'll take you to the links. And maybe we'll start putting some articles up there if we get some traffic. Also, please join the Discord. If you have questions you want to bring up for the live stream, you can always come into the Discord. I put the link up at least 3 times a day on Facebook for you to join the Discord if you want.
It's in the description.
Join the Discord, and if enough of you join the Discord, we'll actually get Zach to play games with us in the Discord, which, if you've never played video games with Zach, is a learning experience and a chance for growth in your personal life. This has been another great episode of Talking with a Dad. Have a good night.